Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Happy Friday, Nashville. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you, broadcasting live from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Lots to talk about today. Plenty of Titans talk. Trinidad Chambliss going to return to Ole Miss. At least as of now, the NCAA can appeal. And of course, the Olympics continue to roll along. But we got to start with how about them Commodores last night, Connor Newt?
Good morning. I mean, that was the first thing that I thought of when I woke up. I was like, Jake Lyman is just going to be fired up today.
It was I couldn't sleep last night. Even like the Oklahoma game was late, so I still went to bed late, but I fell asleep last night. I was just too fired up. I didn't fall asleep until like 12:30, and I got home at 9:30. But what a fun atmosphere in Memorial last night.
Looked like a packed house on TV.
It was a good crowd. It was less people than like the Florida game, because that was the $1 ticket day where we got 9,000 people out there. But the people who showed up last night were loud.
Yeah.
And when Vandy went on that 14-0 run in the first quarter, it locked in the crowd, and they stayed locked in the rest of the game.
That's how you do it.
It was an awesome atmosphere. Texas, I said it on the broadcast a couple of times last night, that right or wrong, the national sentiment around women's college basketball is that the top four teams were just a cut above everybody else. That UConn, UCLA, South Carolina, Texas, that team, that tier is in another level than everybody else. Vandy not only beat Texas last night, they smoked them.
Yeah.
They were up 26 at one point. I mean, this team is special, and I heard Joe say it on Robbie and Rex Road in the last segment. Charlie Cream, the czar of women's bracketology, does have Vanderbilt on the one line this morning.
There you go.
Which is crazy to say.
I mean, you and I, when we talk about college basketball, we talk about the tiers and how you just mentioned it. Those four are usually a cut above everyone else, not just in the SEC, but nationally. The line has been blurred a little bit. I still think just because of the conference they play in and the way they're winning games, UConn is the team to beat. But that line between UConn and UCLA, I guess we could throw in that conversation as well, just because they're not in the SEC. But
yeah,
the line between South Carolina and Texas, as opposed to Vanderbilt and teams like that, it's blurred. It's getting a lot closer than you would think. So I think this is going to make for a really, really fun tournament in a couple of weeks.
I am so excited for March. Vandy has 4 games remaining: at Georgia on Sunday, home games against Kentucky and Alabama, and then at Tennessee to end the season. If Vandy wins out, they are guaranteed at least second place in the SEC. And South Carolina plays LSU on Saturday. If South Carolina loses another, Vandy could have a share of the regular season title in the SEC.
Where is that game?
It is in Baton Rouge.
It's right behind you. Okay. At Baton Rouge.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Okay.
So
that's a losable game.
Right. It's definitely not a gimme. I think Vanderbilt, it's just the last week has taken the expectations to a new level.
Mm-hmm.
You would come off those back-to-back losses to South Carolina and Ole Miss, and it was like, all right, this is a good team, but how good are they? You beat Kentucky on the road, Oklahoma at home by 16, and then beat Texas by 16. This team is an SEC championship contender. It's a national championship contender at this point.
And how weird does that feel? Maybe not for women's basketball, because that's been a program with upward trajectory for the last few years, and you obviously know that better than anyone.
Yeah.
But how fun is that for Vanderbilt fans to say, we are among the top teams in the nation. We are a national contender.
It is wild. I could always see it. I showed up in the second year of Shea Ralph at Vanderbilt, and that team won 12 games in 2022-23. But you could see the foundation being built.
Mm-hmm.
And I will always remember after Vandy lost in the SEC tournament, I went to the Commodore Hour show, which used to be at the Holiday Inn on West End. And Shay was there, and she came up to me and she goes, Jake, don't get used to having this much time off in March, because it's not going to be like this moving forward.
She was right.
She was right. So I'm excited for March. The SEC tournament is coming up in a little over 3 weeks, and the NCAA tournament we get a bracket a month from Sunday.
I know.
4 weeks from Sunday. Because
John Rothstein lets me know every Sunday.
Yes, that's true. 4 weeks from Sunday, we will have a bracket. And the top 16 reveal comes out for the first time on Saturday for the women's side. So we're going to find out what the selection committee truly feels about this Vanderbilt team. I think there would have been an argument for them if Vanderbilt won that game last night by 2, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they won by 2. They were at home. Texas still has wins over UCLA. They have a win over South Carolina. Texas is still going to be on the 1 line. I would be shocked now if Vanderbilt is not on the 1 line.
They should be
on Saturday.
They dominated. I mean, you said they were up by 26 at one point. I heard you a little bit across the hall. I was producing with Chip Walters. So they got a win last night too.
Hey, there you go, Blue Raiders.
After losing 5 in a row.
Who are they playing?
They went on the road and beat Kennesaw State.
Okay.
So
big one.
Big one. They need to keep winning so they can make their conference tournament, because Conference USA, you have to be in the top 10.
Right. Not everybody makes it now.
Right. So that was a big win. But I heard you a little bit across the hall. I could just tell it was just an exciting feel. I watched a little bit on TV, and yeah, those nosebleeds could have been filled up a little bit more. But you're right. That crowd was loud. They were engaged. Every shot that went in the air, they were locked in. And I mean, that starting 5, we could talk ad nauseum about Michaela Blakes and how impactful she is, but I think she makes the other 4 around her better.
Yeah.
She is probably, in my opinion, and probably your opinion too, the most impactful player in the entire country because of the scoring ability, but also the playmaking ability. She sets others up for success. I mean, Justine Passat, for example, probably the biggest example of shooting that this team has outside of Michaela Blakes, if I'm not mistaken. If maybe I'm mixing it up with else,
Justine's shooting 45% from 3.
Yeah, playmaking ability. She goes and spots up in the corner while your point guard is dribbling down the middle. Playmaking ability. You have to have that. And Michaela Blakes, I think, is the epitome of playmaking ability. And that's something that kind of flies under the radar, but I truly think she was the best player in the nation. I've heard you argue this, and not to restate exactly what you said, I'll just echo it a little bit. Sarah Strong, very, very good player.
Don't want to take anything away from Sarah Strong.
Very good. That said, we know what UConn is. UConn is a wagon that plays in a weak conference with an elite coach. I think if you were to take Sarah Strong and move her somewhere else, that team is probably still undefeated, if not maybe 1 or 2 losses.
Right. Still a 1 seed, most likely.
If you take Michaela off of Vanderbilt, I don't think we're having the conversation we're having this morning.
Certainly are not 24-2.
Right.
And Michaela Blakes, I put it out there last night. Michaela Blakes is your National Player of the Year. Aubrey Galvin's your National Freshman of the Year. And Shea Ralph is your National Coach of the Year. At this point, obviously still with time to go in the season, I don't see how you can argue otherwise.
And Jake Lyman, National Broadcaster of the Year.
If they did that, I would throw my name in the hat. Here's from Opta Stats last night, and this can kind of wrap up our conversation on this. Michaela Blakes has scored 105 points over her last 3 games, all against ranked opponents, number 16, number 10, number 4. All were wins. Only 2 other players, male or female, this century have had 100-plus points in a 3-game span with 3 wins over AP top 25 teams.
Do you have said players?
I do.
Okay.
Paige Beckers of UConn.
Number 1 pick.
And Stephen Curry.
Oh, my goodness.
That's it.
That's elite company right there.
It is elite company. That is how good Michaela Blakes is. She has scored 30-plus in 4 straight games. She scored 37 at Kentucky, 34 against Oklahoma, 34 last night against Texas.
You know what the most exciting part about that is? You get her next year, too. She ain't going anywhere.
And hopefully the year after that, too.
Yep.
I mean, you can leave after 3 years. Most women's basketball players don't.
Yeah.
So,
well, Caitlin Clark didn't. Probably the most impactful women's player of all time, stayed all 4 years.
Like, I don't want to look past anything that's happening this season, because obviously this season is special all in itself.
Right.
But this Vanderbilt team is also adding another McDonald's All-American 5-star in Olivia Jones next year and another top 50 recruit in Jai Johnson. So this team is not going to – this is not a flash in the pan. This team's only going to get better from here. So unbelievable night last night in Memorial Gym. You've still got opportunities if you want to come out and see this team. Next week, Kentucky on Sunday, the 22nd, and then Alabama on Thursday, the 26th. And guess what? I'll lock it in now. I don't think there's anything that could happen the rest of the season. You're going to have at least another chance or two in the NCAA tournament to come out and see this team because
He's bold.
there will be March Madness games over at Memorial Gym.
Chips in the middle, folks. This guy's
I
pulling
mean,
it all in.
You're 24-2 with 4 top 10 wins. I think that resume, regardless of what happens down the stretch, is good enough to at least be a top 4 seed.
You play poker, right?
Yeah.
You know the saying.
Don't count your chicken or don't count your money while you're sitting at the table.
Well, that too. Always bet on black.
Oh,
and gold.
Oh, there you go. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We are off and running on this Friday. Coming up next, the Olympics. Hockey underway. The U.S. got their run started yesterday, and it got a little bit dicey in the first period. The U.S. figured it out in the second period. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about a big matchup between Preds players this morning that already wrapped up between Finland and Sweden. UC Saros with a huge bounce-back game for the Finns today. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Heard this 5 times yesterday as the U.S. got a win over Latvia, opening their Olympic hockey run. Back in action tomorrow against Denmark, and then Sunday against Germany to wrap up the group stages. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. I love Olympic hockey. And
so much fun.
I'm so excited once we get through the group stages because I would assume the U.S. is going to smoke all 3 of these teams. Germany's got Leon Draisaitl, but
That's it.
The depth for Germany isn't there. The U.S. should win their group pretty easily. Now, yesterday, 1-1 through 1. The goalie interference call was kind of iffy there, and but the U.S. was able to roll, got 3 goals in the second period, and pulls away for a win. I'm going to be so disappointed if we don't get a USA-Canada game.
Oh, yeah. Well, I ended up watching Canada yesterday as well.
Yeah.
They were playing against the Czechs, and that's going to be a tough team to beat. I mean, I heard Robbie talking about it yesterday. You know what Canada's third line is?
Yeah, I heard him say this. It's what, Mitch Marner,
Sidney Crosby, Mark Stone. Third line.
Ridiculous.
By the way.
No, that team is absolutely insane. I saw the they put out the lines and the pairings, and I'm like, that is an all-star team right there.
Yeah. But I mean, US started off slow. Some of it was just bad puck luck. Like that offsides call, I think was the correct call. That skate was not down before the puck got there. So I was the right call. The goaltender interference call was pretty, I'm trying not to say a bad word here. It was pretty,
pretty bad,
blatantly not that. So, but they bounced back in the second period. The Brock Nelson's second goal to make it 4-1 was one of the most beautiful goals I've ever seen in my life. Pretty much all 5 skaters on the ice touched the puck, moved it around the O-zone, and it just tapped it in. It was fantastic. So he should have had a hat trick yesterday if it wasn't for that goaltender interference call, which, again, blatantly not good.
Yep.
But this is a fun team to watch. Tage Thompson's top shelf goal was unbelievable as well. It's a deep team. Like, it's just a team that has a bunch of goal scorers, and you can tell they care. The Tkachuk brothers care. Like, they care about this more than they care about the actual season. So it is fun to watch. Only thing I wish is you could tell there were certain points, especially early in that first period, where things just weren't going. They just wanted to fight, and they can't. That's going to be really funny if the U.S. and Canada meet, because they're going to want to drop the gloves, but they're not going to be allowed to just because of Olympic regulations. So it is unfortunate, but overall, I think Olympic hockey, best on best NHL, is some of the most fun hockey I've ever watched in my life.
It's great, and we haven't gotten it in a while.
Right.
They haven't let the NHLers play, so it's been really cool to watch. And this morning, I will say I did not wake up for the 10 a.m. puck drop for Sweden and Finland. But UC Saros, big bounce back game. 34 saves on 35 shots. Finland gets the win 4-1.
Why does Sweden's coach just hate Philip Forsberg?
I was about to ask that. I don't understand it. He was the extra skater in the first game against Italy. And I think you could look at that and say, all right, well, it's Italy. Sweden is going to run through them no matter what happens. So maybe you wanted to rest Philip Forsberg and make sure he's ready to go for some of your bigger games.
Minute and a half of ice time in that game.
We talk about USA, Canada. I would guess Sweden and Finland is pretty high up there in terms of like rivalry. 9 minutes of ice time today for Philip Forsberg.
I don't get it. I don't. He should be playing more than double that. He should be getting at least 20 minutes of ice time.
Like, somebody out there who knows more about the Swedish hockey team could correct me. Is he not one of, if not their best player?
I mean, he's certainly one of their most talented players.
Right. That's like, he is.
Not every team is like the U.S. and Canada where it's just all NHLers. Latvia yesterday, how many NHL players did they have?
I don't know, actually.
I don't know. That's actually a genuine question.
Not a lot. Yeah.
I mean, it's not this universal thing. There are NHLers on every team, it feels like, but it's not a deep core like Canada and the U.S. have. So why are you not throwing out your most talented, arguably your most talented NHL player out there? He's the most talented team on his actual club team. So why are you not letting him get out there and play for his nation? I don't understand it. This Swedish coach, he just needs to be fired.
Well, and he did the one shift that Philip Forsberg did have on Wednesday was not good. He turned the puck over, but 9 minutes of ice time is crazy. Let's look through their team. I mean, there are some good NHL players on this team with Sebastian Aho, Mikael Granlund,
former Pred, Mikael Granlund,
Mikko Rantanen, Toivo Teravainen, Eli Tolvanen. Like they have. Oh wait, sorry, that's Finland. I'm an idiot. I'm scrolling through the wrong team. Jasper Bratt, Joel Eriksson Ek, Adrian Kempe. I heard him pronounce his name the Swedish way, Gabriel Landeskog.
I would argue Forsberg is better than all of those.
Mika Zibanejad's a really good player. Elias Pettersson, okay, so there are a lot of really good players on Sweden, but Philip Forsberg deserves to be in that conversation.
Look, I'm not arguing he needs to be the top line right winger, but at the same time, you would expect him to get more ice time, right? He's one of the more talented players on that roster.
Yeah.
So why is he sitting and being the healthy scratch? Not the healthy scratch. He's getting ice time, but why is he only getting 9 minutes of ice time in probably the biggest game in your group?
Yeah, I don't get it. I guess
I don't understand.
Maybe the explanation is that everybody makes the next round, and it's like, hey, we may have to play an extra game, but we're gonna have full go Philip Forsberg for that. I don't think that's it, but like maybe that's
you don't want to warm him up before
right, that maybe they're ramping him up. It's gonna go 1 minute to 9 minutes to 15 minutes, and then
he's on a pitch count. Everyone, he's
right.
on a pitch count.
I hope there were no Swedish people out there hearing me completely just mistake them for Finland. I'm sure that's not great over there.
Who is this guy?
Today,
red, white, and blue glasses.
Big one today. 2:10 puck drop. Canada versus Roman Josi in Switzerland.
Switzerland's a secretly good team.
They're a sneaky team.
They're not the level of United States and Canada. I don't think
anybody is in the Olympics
in the world is to that level, but they're a good team. Roman Josi is obviously a good player. I think he is the pride and joy of that country, which Philip Forsberg should be the pride and joy of Sweden, but I digress. I think that's a team that plays team hockey. They're not the most talented team out there, but they play so well together that they're capable of beating the upsets. I'm pulling for them today because I hate Canada, so we'll see.
Yeah, I should have some time this afternoon. We're doing Valentine's date tonight because I'm leaving for Athens tomorrow. But I think I should have some time to watch Switzerland and Canada. And I'm excited because you're right. Like, no one is on the level of Canada and the U.S. in this tournament. They have the most NHL players. They have the best NHL players. But the teams like Finland, Sweden, Switzerland, like, they do have enough talent that they can stack up against those teams. Like, if they played, to use the miracle, if you played these guys 10 times, they might win 9 of them, but not today. Like Switzerland, Sweden, Finland, they could end up winning that game. I think you'd like to save that win for when you face them in the actual bracket, but it should be interesting today with Canada and Switzerland and Roman Josi. And Switzerland did win against France yesterday, right? In their first game.
They did.
So that game is basically to win their group.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Because I would guess Canada is going to beat France. The Czech Republic and Switzerland, or Czechia and Switzerland. I guess that Czechia is usually decent. Czechia.
Why is it called Czechia?
I don't know. When did they change from the Czech Republic?
Is it because there's like multiple countries like within the same?
Well, so that country has identity issues. Like, it was Czechoslovakia for a long time, and then it was the Czech Republic, and I guess now it's Czechia.
We need a Czechian to call it.
It's listed as Czech Republic on this schedule right here, but
I have seen the Czechs.
I have seen, the Czechs.
That's what they need.
That's the last game for Switzerland. Early Sunday morning, if you feel like a 5 a.m. wake-up call. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll maybe touch on the Olympics a little bit later on. The Czechs and France are playing at 10:40. I don't know if I will be keeping up with that one, but
I'm good.
we will maybe get back to hockey.
Look, I love Olympic hockey, and I'll be locked in on pretty much every USA game, but this isn't March Madness where I have to watch every moment of every game at all times.
Right, exactly. But we will see if we have anything to get back to with the Olympics later on in the show. But coming up next, the big news yesterday was about Trinidad Chambliss. Early on, his NCAA waiver was denied, but in the afternoon, a judge has granted him the ability to play in 2026. We'll talk about the overall process of this. We'll also talk about what it means for the NCAA. What does it mean for SEC football next year? What does it mean for Deuce Knight, who just transferred to Ole Miss and now has to ride the pine? We'll get into all of it coming up next. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly.
And America's sweetheart.
I was about to say, Team USA's biggest fan, Tate McRae, bringing us back.
Oh, she's nobody. Nobody's girl, that is.
That was funny that she did the Team USA ad.
Hilarious.
And then Canadians were not happy.
And then they came out to her song in the
opening ceremony. That was very petty, very good from Team USA.
So good.
Speaking of the Olympics, we were talking about why it's Czechia, not Czech Republic. 5593 has clarified things for us. Says, my family has ties to Czechia, so I looked it up. Apparently, it's because it's easier to say and write to everyone else. Czech Republic is still the formal name. So there we go.
Okay. Can we just be the states then?
That's what everybody else calls us, I think.
But I like USA.
USA.
You got to acknowledge it.
Anyway, that was our
hearts of men.
Our geography and history lesson for today. Let's get to college football here and the draft as well, because this has impacts on both. Trinidad Chambliss has been granted his eligibility in 2026 by a judge in Mississippi. The NCAA denied his waiver yesterday, but very quickly the judge said that the NCAA, I believe the word was mishandled the documentation that they were given showing that he deserved a medical red shirt for the 2022 season. So Trinidad Chambliss is going to be eligible to play, barring an NCAA appeal, and he will be back as the starting quarterback for Ole Miss. Very interesting stuff on the continued battle for the NCAA to enforce its own rules and what's actually going to happen on the field in the SEC next year.
But it's the right thing. I think based on some of the people that have been granted eligibility, Trinidad Chambliss is way more deserving of this. If TJ Finley can play for his 8th school in 8 years and Trinidad Chambliss can't get a medical redshirt year for a year that he was legitimately hurt, we've got problems. So I think the NCAA is probably the most corrupt sports organization in the entire world, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, FIFA's pretty bad. I'd have to ask Nick Frazier about that one. But the NCAA just can't enforce their own rules or have no backbone to do so.
Well, it's become an issue of, for a long, long time, the NCAA made its rules, the member schools agreed to it, and there was never anything beyond that. They just said, you know what, those are the rules, we're going to stick to it. But those rules are nothing. It's all funny. Like, there's nothing that they can do to actually hold those up when you take them to court.
Yeah. I mean, even if they don't agree with the rule, it becomes a lawsuit, goes to state courts. 9 times out of 10, the state court upholds the ruling. That's what you're seeing in this instance. So I do find it interesting that it's just a rumor at this point, but the state judge that granted Trinidad eligibility was an Ole Miss graduate. So maybe that has something to do with it. But
I mean, it is a little bit funny how these players and teams continue to find the most friendly judge that they could possibly
get. It's like Charles
get.
Bediako.
Right.
I mean,
that
the judge
Alabama donor. It's all a mess right now. And I understand the NCAA saying we need congressional help. Like, is it the best strategy? No, it might be their only strategy, because there's nothing that the NCAA is not a legal law enforcement agency. Like, they cannot actually enforce their laws and rules.
They're just the governing body.
Right. They are the governing body, but it's no different than any company having rules. If a company's rules don't comply with state laws, they could get sued and end up having to give in to their rules. So it's anything like that. They need congressional help to put a federal blanket over this so that state laws don't supersede their decisions. I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
Here's the problem, though. They're not going to be consistent with these rulings. I mean, they're fighting against the Trinidad Chambliss one, but they were not hesitant to give TJ Finley another year. They were not hesitant to give, Vandy fans, cover your ears, Diego Pavia a 7th year of eligibility.
They didn't give it to him. He had to sue for that.
Well, maybe that's a bad example. But there are examples elsewhere of, non-hesitance to just get another year. You can go in basketball, too. Armando Bacot played for like 10 years at North Carolina.
DeAndre Williams at Memphis.
Right.
That's my favorite one because he was older than Devin Booker, who was playing in his 8th NBA season and trying to get another year of eligibility.
Carson Beck's on his 7th year of eligibility.
No, I do want to clarify. I'm not saying that the decision is wrong. Trinidad deserved to play. This was actually one of the ones where it's like the NCAA probably should have given him eligibility.
But they're fighting it.
Right. I think that they want to put their foot down because everybody is challenging their eligibility rules right now. And it's like, if we give Trinidad one, everybody's going to be coming to us. We have to put our foot down and see if we can enforce our rules. And they can't. So
they've already opened the floodgates, though. That's the problem. Pavia was part of the reason that the floodgates were open.
Well, right. Pavia proved that if you go challenge the NCAA, you can win.
Right.
And you're going to get your eligibility.
You know who's next, right? Joey Aguilar.
Well, yeah, and has a final decision come down on that, Parker? Yeah, I was going to say he got the temporary restraining order. So as of right now, he's eligible, but it only lasted like 15 days. So
yeah,
he's going to need to get exactly what Trinidad Chambliss got, which is, I'm blanking on the word for it. It's not a temporary restraining order. It's injunction.
Yes,
an injunction. To be able to play.
You have to be a legal expert to cover college athletics in the offseason.
I know.
It's crazy.
It is hilarious. I was following along.
We all need law degrees.
We were sitting over there at Memorial, and I was, I knew we were going to talk about this on the show, so I was just kind of refreshing Pete Thamel's Twitter, and it was funny, like all of the legal drama that was going on. It's like the judge has emerged from his chambers and is ready to give his ruling. I'm like, is this law and order, or is this college football? Keegan on the text line says, Trinidad saying, I'm only asking for what's already in the rule book. Every athlete gets 4 years to play is the best, easiest, and simplest way to show the total incompetence of the NCAA. They're going to be the reason they fail, and it's going to be a really weird day when it happens. No one respects their authority anymore. Exactly.
This is why we talk about the SEC and the Big Ten forming their own super conference and disbanding from the NCAA and creating their own league. And honestly, at this point, I'm in favor of it.
I think it's going to happen at some point. And it is funny. The NCAA used to be the big bad wolf. Like,
right. You didn't mess with them.
And they don't punish anybody anymore. Like all the
they can't.
The Dabo stuff that came out. I said this a couple weeks ago about the tampering. Like, that's a serious recruiting violation of going to a guy who's already signed with another school and prying him away. The NCAA is not going to do anything.
They can't because state laws will come into effect. Lawsuits will come into effect, and that's more legal battles for the NCAA to fight. So they don't want to punish anyone because they don't want a bad image on them. Little do they know, they've already got a terrible image on them. So right. I don't understand how this organization works. I think, Charlie Baker, I don't know how much of a decision maker he is, but do you ever find it funny that it's always just letters? It's never, live and in-person coverages. It's no press conferences or anything. It's just like a ChatGPT written letter. Like yesterday, Trinidad Chambliss, I'll have to pull it up, but they're basically like, we're going to continue fighting the good fight.
It's the exact same thing, except the opposite side of Charles Bediako. They basically just copied and pasted, but put it on the opposite side.
It's like the NCAA is always on the wrong side here. When Charles Bediako is not a good example, but they're on the wrong side of this Trinidad Chambliss thing. They're on the wrong side of this TJ Finley thing. They're always on the wrong side. And it's pretty much universal. Everyone that follows college athletics knows this, but it feels like the NCAA is just allergic to making the right decision.
Well, and sometimes they do, and they get challenged in court. Like the Bediako thing, he should have never been allowed to play. Mm-hmm. But
the floodgates were open.
The more the line gets blurred, the more athletes that are going to try and find their way to get more eligibility.
Once you let the Baylor guy in,
you
open the gates.
Right. Ricky on the text line says the court hearing is today for Aguilar. He says, y'all are supposed to know these things. You cover sports in Tennessee. I'm sorry, I don't have the court docket in front of me. I don't this
is also a Vanderbilt station.
We'll find
just in case you weren't aware.
We'll find out when Joey Aguilar's decision comes down, and then we can talk about it. But that's not something that I think was common knowledge for everybody.
Congratulations.
Let's go to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jim from Mount Juliet is on the line. Jim, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Hey, guys, question on the Trinidad Chambliss thing, half sarcastic but half serious. Is that judge a state judge, a graduate of Ole Miss? Is he a booster? Is he a big fan? Has anybody got any detail on that?
I actually don't know.
From what I saw yesterday, Jim, it's just a rumor at this point, but he is a state official, and I think he's a graduate of Ole Miss. I don't know if he's a booster or anything, but he is a graduate.
Here is what it says. It says Robert Whitwell has degrees from Delta State University and the University of Mississippi Law School. I don't see anything about him being a booster or anything like that.
So that's good. He's not providing money to the university. He's just an alumni. So, which you're probably going to find in the state of Mississippi.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Jim. I mean, I could see the NCAA appealing based on that he does have ties to the University of Mississippi, but I don't know. At this point, it feels like it's a losing battle, and Trinidad Chambliss is going to be back on the football field in 2026. We'll talk about what that actually means for the SEC. And, of course, for Ole Miss, who brought in a big-name transfer quarterback who now is stuck there because there's no second transfer portal window.
Portal's closed.
It is very interesting stuff. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. If you want to text or call, our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll wrap up hour number one. On the other side, Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game.
You were right. I haven't thought about this song in a long time.
It's a good one, Parker.
Haley Steinfeld.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
By the way, I'm opening things up today. Usually when we come on with White Girl Friday, I've purposely said to both of you, Taylor Swift is banned when I'm on the air.
Oh, you're going to allow it today?
I'm going to allow one song.
All right.
And I will tell you what that song is.
All right.
Not on the air.
Okay. We'll get to it later.
At some point.
Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you. Register today for Stars Trivia Night at Boom Baz in East Nashville on Thursday, February 19th, just 6 days away. It'll be a night full of fun, food, and prizes, all while supporting Stars Nashville, a nonprofit providing free mental health support for students in over 200 schools across Middle Tennessee. For more details and how to register, visit thegamenashville.com/events. We're talking about the Trinidad Chambliss decision and that he is going to be back as of right now at Ole Miss as their starting quarterback next year. What does this mean for the SEC? I mean, Chambliss came on throughout the season. He was great in the college football playoff game against Georgia, came up short in that game against Miami. Does this put Ole Miss right towards the top of SEC football favorites this year?
Absolutely. I think the roster retention they had, in addition to some of the pieces they grabbed in the portal, I think sets them apart from a majority of the SEC. I wouldn't put them on the level of Georgia or Texas or, the top at the top of
right.
the SEC.
I don't know if this puts them as like the odds-on favorite,
right,
but
right.
I think you put them back into that tier of teams that could go to the playoff next year.
But here's the thing, and this is something D-May says to me all the time when we talk about teams in their second year. Guess what everyone has on you now?
Yeah, they got film.
They got film. And a lot of it is a lot of the same players. P1 Lacey is back. Now Trinidad Chambliss is back. You've got some receivers back as well. So that offense is going to be relatively the same. How it looks without, Lane Kiffin and that offensive staff calling it, I'm not sure. But on paper, I think this roster is set for another good season in the SEC. My question is, and I think you have the same question, he's been graded as such a decent prospect in the NFL. I don't quite understand why he's so hell-bent on coming back to college when he could be a first-round draft pick.
So that was my confusion as well, is he is pushing so hard to get back to college. And Mel Kiper has him ranked as the third best quarterback in this draft. That's not to say he couldn't improve that stock and maybe be the number 1 or number 2 quarterback in the draft next year. But, man, you look at it and say, if Mel Kiper is right, which as we saw last year, his quarterback blanking on the word, evaluation, his quarterback evaluation, it does not quite line up with a lot of NFL teams. He had Shedeur Sanders as a first-round pick. And
you mean Pro Bowler Shedeur Sanders?
Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
Pro Bowler Shedeur Sanders. But so you can't take that as the end-all, be-all. But if Trinidad Chambliss is the third best quarterback in this draft, he's probably at worst a third-round pick, most likely a second-round pick.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money that you're leaving on the table.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, my first thought when I saw you wrote this on the grid and I started thinking about it was, well, there has to be an NIL difference. But I looked at the financials between the average top player in college football NIL deal versus a second to third round NFL pick. There's more money involved in the NFL.
Right. There's more guaranteed money.
Yes.
Right? Because, like, you can make, let's say Ole Miss is paying him $4 million.
Right.
Like, I would guess that's probably the going rate right now. $4 million is great. Lots of money. Never going to complain about $4 million. But if you're a second round pick, you're getting guaranteed what, $30 million?
But that's also just rev share money from Ole Miss. We don't know the kind of endorsements
that's
he
true.
has.
That's a good point.
Maybe he has something with Nike or obviously he's definitely got stuff with local businesses in Oxford. So that's probably a factor. But I don't know what kind of big brands he's endorsed with. So maybe he's getting a big sum of money from them as well. But if you compare apples to apples, and by that I mean the NFL to Ole Miss, the NFL, assuming he's a second or third round pick at the most, is paying him a lot more money.
Keegan on the text line says, would you rather get drafted early second to a potentially bad situation or stay at school, get paid a couple million, potentially go top 10 next year? The word potentially is the
right.
big anchor right there, right? Like,
potential has been the thing for quarterbacks in college football in the draft the last couple of years. Who is the projected number 1 pick this year going into this season?
Arch Manning.
Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Correct. He's going back to school. How about last year? Who was the projected first overall pick?
Beck.
Carson Beck. He went back to school.
Yep.
So potential is the key word there. And
Right.
NIL plays a heavy factor into that, and obviously the rev share stuff does as well, but it is an interesting trend.
Right. And we saw Ty Simpson, who got first round grades back from front offices and is going in because, yeah, sure, there's a chance you go back to college football and you blow up and have a huge year and you're the number one pick next year. There's also a chance you suck or get injured and your stock tanks.
Yeah.
So
Garrett
it's a
Nussmeier.
risky move. I just wonder if Trinidad Chambliss, if fans are rating him higher than NFL teams were, right? Like, I think fans saw that Georgia game and some of the Mahomey plays that he made, and we're
Which is
All
a
like,
right,
bet
Chris
that-
Collinsworth.
Yeah.
It's a bet of mine that didn't cash. I don't think he mentioned Mahomes once. in the
I don't.
Super
Yeah, I
Bowl.
don't think he did. Maybe he was trying purposefully to avoid it.
He heard me.
But I wonder if the fans are saying, like, I have a very close friend who is a Jets fan, and he was like saying, take him at 2. Take Trinidad at 2. I like him way better than Ty Simpson or Dante Moore. Like, take Trinidad Chambliss at 2. I'm like, he's not a second overall pick type of player.
Not yet.
But I think fans saw that college football playoff game and said, that guy could be a star. I wonder if NFL like front offices told him, hey, like, we know you had a couple of good games there. You're probably more like a 4th round pick.
Yeah. Which, I mean, could play a heavy factor into maybe he can improve himself, be the number 1 or number 2 quarterback going into next year's draft. I mean, right now it's Dante Moore as the number 1 quarterback. He was the number 2 quarterback in this draft.
There's a lot of names that you could look at for next year.
But it's very, very early. And as we know, guys emerge. The guy that the Titans took number 1 overall is an example of that.
Right.
Going into that season, it was Carson Beck all around. And look, we didn't think the Titans would suck as much as they did, but they did. And then we saw the season Cam Ward had, and the Titans took Cam Ward number 1 overall.
Yeah.
There's a lot that's going to happen in terms of guys emerging and, downsizing in their stock.
No, you're right. There's no Caleb Williams. There's no Trevor Lawrence. There's no Andrew Luck, where it's like you're just waiting for that guy to come out. It's like the teams that pick first overall the year before, they're like, God, why couldn't we get it next year? Because that's a guy.
Right.
There's none of those guys in this draft, but there's a lot of potential. Yeah, I mean, you talk about, of course, Dante Moore, Trinidad Chambliss, Arch Manning. I think you could even put like Lenore Sellers in that conversation as a guy who disappointed this year, but still has the traits that teams like.
I mean, we'll see what DJ Lagway does.
Right. Is he Baylor?
Baylor.
Yeah. So there's a lot that needs to be sorted out, but I did have that same question of why is Trinidad Chambliss so determined to go back to college when he could end up being a day 2 pick in the NFL draft? 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Let's go to our phone lines. Dr. Locke is called in. Thanks for calling. Good morning.
What's up, fellas? How you doing, Jake?
Doing great.
Hey, I'm looking at it. When did Dylan Gabriel get drafted? I think it's the 2nd or the 3rd round.
He was
correct?
a 3rd round pick.
3rd round. All right, so 3rd round, I'm looking at his salary right here on my phone while I'm driving. It's 4 years, $6.2 million. So he's making about $1.3 million, $1.2 million. So 2nd round might get you 2.5 a year. So, I mean, what Trinidad's getting ready to pick up is $6 million. Easy. So he's the hottest commodity coming back. Lane would pay him 6. 6 is the new benchmark. Miami just wrote a check for $6 million for their new quarterback. So $6 million is the new ceiling, and Trinidad will command that. So it's an easy $6 million to throw a ball around in Oxford and have no stress. I mean, that's a no-brainer to me.
I guess that's a good point. I hadn't looked specifically at 3rd round contracts. So if he did end up getting told that he was a 2nd or 3rd round pick, maybe it is the right move to go back. But again, it comes with a whole lot of risk of your stock could fall and you could end up being a day 3 pick in a couple of years. I guess I
think I would bet on that kid should bet on himself. That kid will probably, because I don't see Arch coming out next year. Arch might come out the year after. But if he does what he should do, he'll probably be a top 5 pick. And now you're talking $10 million. I think Cam made $10 million last year.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. And I guess if you do fall in the draft next year, you have $5 million to wipe your tears with. So, I guess that does make sense. Thanks for the call, Dr. Locke.
I was thinking about this in terms of, let's say he's a high second round pick, like Will Levis. So Will Levis's contract right now, his rookie contract was $8 million with
Okay.
a $3 million signing bonus.
And I guess that's probably more like 12
Right.
this year.
So I guess it's just
it's about
hinging on where you get drafted, but I think maybe he was told something like you're going to be a third or fourth round guy, and
Right.
there's more money on the table at Ole Miss with rev share plus whatever endorsements you're getting. It's all about his draft position, and obviously we'll never know where he would have been drafted this year because he's not going to come out. So it's about how you look at it, but I think it is money involved. But like you said too, maybe the fans and the media like him a lot more than actual NFL coaches and ownership.
I think that might be part of it, that having the one big game against Georgia on national TV raised his stock among fans, but it's like the scouts who have been watching him since the beginning maybe didn't change their view all that much. So we'll see. I think like Dr. Locke said, Trinidad Chambliss is betting on himself that he's going to elevate to the top of the first round, and he's going to make that money. But you also are still getting a decent amount of money just to play this year.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where you see the benefits of having NIL in college athletics.
Right. I mean, yeah, it keeps players from going pro too early.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a developmental thing.
Very interesting stuff with Trinidad Chambliss, and it looks like he will be back as Ole Miss's starting quarterback next year. What happens with Deuce Knight now? Like, is he just he's just stuck there, right?
I guess he's just going to do like a Dylan Raiola situation.
I guess
he just sits there and learns.
And then
if I were him, I wouldn't be opposed to sitting and learning behind Trinidad Chambliss.
And it's true. And he is a
veteran.
He'll be a true sophomore. So it's not like he's draft eligible after this year. He's still going to
shirt him.
Right. Well, he got a red shirt last year. So maybe he's a redshirt freshman. So
he's a redshirt. Yeah, he's a redshirt freshman.
So because he did not play 4 games at Florida last year, not at Florida.
And look, you don't know. Maybe Trinidad gets hurt and Deuce Knight gets plugged in.
No, it's true. So
we don't know.
You got 2 former 5-star quarterbacks sitting on the bench this year. Dylan Raiola, Deuce Knight, as Trinidad Chambliss comes back. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. You can text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. 1025 The Game's Big Joe Dubin will be at the Gaylord Opryland Convention Center today from 3 to 5 for the National Wild Turkey Federation Sports Show. Get your tickets now and check out the latest gear from the hottest outdoor brands, as more than 500 exhibitors will be on site. For more information, visit nwtf.org. Coming up next, we'll get into the Titans. ESPN put out an article yesterday about the 18 non-playoff teams and where they stand in their quote-unquote rebuilds. We'll talk about where they have the Titans and whether they should be a little bit higher. That's coming up next. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 125 The Game. Second hour, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Going to talk some Titans here in hour number 2. It is also opening day across college baseball, and you can listen to Vanderbilt baseball starting their season today. The Commodores taking on TCU at 3 o'clock. You can catch all the action on 94.9 The Fan and the Game Nashville app. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But before we get into the Titans here, Connor, I told you during one of the breaks that ESPN is reporting that the NFL has won a lawsuit against the NFLPA that ends the team report cards that get put out, right? Like tells you what the dining experience, the travel experience, the conditions for families and all this stuff.
Which was just so pointless.
See, I kind of liked it because it held the teams accountable, right? If you get an F for team accommodations, you're going to try and make that better so it doesn't show up next year.
Yeah.
But the NFL has ended those report cards.
It was kind of
violates
funny,
the CBA.
It was kind of funny reading those. Like, what is the snack bar like in the Titans facility?
Right. That's basically what it was. It's like, what are our locker room facilities like? What are the coaches like? What is the owner like? And that's where ESPN reported in November, this is from Ari Myrov on Twitter, that Jets owner Woody Johnson called the report cards totally bogus and was the one behind getting it stopped because he got an F grade from his players last year.
Of course he was. I mean, what's the Jets locker room rating in Madden? That's probably why. I
gotta say though, if I was a player, Woody Johnson signing my paychecks, I'd be a little scared to rate him an F.
Yeah.
Like, I know that it's anonymous, right? And they can't find specifically, but if the whole team is grading him an F, pretty likely most of them had him at an F. So very interesting stuff. The NFL has stopped the NFLPA report cards.
But the large majority of them were pointless, at least to fans.
Right, like it doesn't matter, but I did like it as a way to know whether your team was actually taking care of its players.
It wasn't a talking point. What can the Titans do to improve their treadmills?
Let's see. I want to see what the Titans were last year. Report card for 2025.
I feel like they were remarkably average.
So here it is. Let's find the Titans. So here are the Titans grades for last year. Treatment of families, B+. Pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
Food dining area, B+. Nutritionist dietitian, B+. Locker room, C-. Interesting.
Ooh, but they spent so much money on that logo.
Yes, they did. B- on the training room, B on training staff, B on weight room. So kind of B's across the board here. B+ on strength coaches, B on team travel. Head coach, A-. How about that? Brian Callahan.
Look at you, Brian Callahan.
A- last year.
What a nice guy.
Ownership, a B.
People
like Amy over there,
I guess.
And that's it.
I told you, remarkably average. It's pretty much B's across the board.
This is really interesting because, like, the Pittsburgh Steelers got a D for ownership. Like, isn't the Rooney family known as one of the best?
But this is voted on by players.
Robert Kraft got a D for ownership.
This is voted on by players.
It's the players, right?
So I don't know. Maybe they're mad about their paychecks or something.
David Tepper got a D- for Carolina. So Titans across the board actually were pretty good. The lowest one was the locker room, which is a C-. That's not horrible.
But hey, that logo hangs on the ceiling that they're probably going to have to change here soon because they're probably going to get a new logo. So
yeah. I saw in Jim Wyatt's mailbag, he was asked about the new logo and he said, I am not allowed to comment on that at this time. So where there's smoke, there's fire. Anyway, that was just a quick tangent on some breaking news that the NFLPA report card's not going to come out anymore. Titans actually came out looking pretty clean from last year. So we won't get to see those anymore. There was a list that came out yesterday, and ESPN, we're back into list season because there are no more games.
In football, at least. Yeah.
Jeremy Fowler put this out, and it's called NFL Overhaul Tiers. And he looked at the 18 non-playoff teams and where they are in terms of getting back into contention. And I agreed with most of what he put in here. Like, he has teams that it's no need to panic, like the Ravens, right? Like, you still got Lamar Jackson. There's still a lot of talent there. The Lions, the Chiefs, a couple teams that are a few moves away that I agree. The Bengals, the Cowboys, the Colts. I disagree with the Vikings here and a few moves away.
No,
because
they don't have a quarterback.
I think they're trending in the wrong direction. I also would say the same thing about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're trending in the wrong direction.
They are. Tampa Bay and Minnesota are different to me because I think Tampa Bay has the talent to be a playoff team. They're just not playing up to that talent.
I also think they're getting older.
Yes.
And it's like, can you get the rebuild going while you still have, I know Mike Evans is a free agent this year, but he's probably coming back. And like Baker Mayfield turned back into a pumpkin the second half of the season. So the Buccaneers and the Vikings, I don't know if I'd say they're a few moves away.
Vikings are young players that haven't stuck in the NFL, other than Justin Jefferson. But 9 is not a good quarterback, contrary to popular belief.
Here's where I disagree. So here's a section that he has titled Sneaky Good Trajectory. And he includes the Falcons, the Saints, and the Giants.
I would put the Titans on there.
That's exactly where I would put the Titans.
Yep.
He has the Titans in the middle of a rebuild phase with the Browns. And I got to say, just looking at the resources that those two teams have, I don't know how you could look at it and say the Titans and Browns are in the same spot.
No, I think maybe slightly, but I think they're trending in opposite directions. The Titans are very clearly in the middle of a rebuild. I don't think there's any arguing that. But I think obviously this whole list is on paper, so we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But on paper, with the moves that the Titans are poised to make in the offseason, the pieces you currently have, what you could potentially get in the draft, your coaching staff, all of the things that factor into that, I would argue that they are sneakily trending in the right direction.
I agree. And that's why I think if you're going to put the Saints in there and the Giants in there, you kind of have to put the Titans in there. I think the Saints and Giants probably have a few more established pieces. Like both of those teams have a number one wide receiver for their young quarterback, Chris Olave, Malik Neighbors, when he gets healthy. The Titans don't have that. But it is funny looking at the Browns. Like, I don't believe in Shedeur Sanders.
No.
And guess how much cap space they have, according to this article?
Probably not a lot.
Minus $66 million.
Thank you, Myles Garrett.
Thank you, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that too. What are they going to do with him? Because
I don't
he's going
know.
to be back.
Like, is Deshaun Watson their starting quarterback next year?
I mean, he wasn't cleared to practice at the end of the season, so he's gotten work in. No one's going to take on that contract. If they want him gone, they're going to have to buy him out. I don't know how much of a cap hit that's going to put on them, but no one wants him.
Yeah. I disagree with where they have the Titans in relation to those teams. Like the Titans, I agree that they are still in the rebuild. I think they're on the upswing though, right? Like they have crashed hard over the past 4 years. I think you saw with some of the progress from Cam Ward at the end of the season, the draft picks you have and the cap space you have. I think you see you've bottomed out and have started to come back up. And I think the trajectory has a chance to be relatively quick. I'm not saying this year, but I think by 2027, 2028, this team could be back as a playoff team.
Which is what they want. They want them contending when that new stadium opens.
Yeah. So I don't get how you can the Falcons. Look at what the Falcons have right now.
What they've had going on the last couple of days.
They have minus $13 million in cap space. They have 5 total draft picks this year, not including their first one because they traded up to get James Pierce, who very good chance he is not on their team much longer.
And by the way, Urquia Jackson's going to testify against him.
Oh, she is? Oh,
Lord. That's just
it's a bad situation.
I don't want to spend any time on that.
We don't need to. Very tough situation. And like James Pierce, such a talented person, but it's like, man, you can't. Anyway, we're not going to spend time.
You can't do that or that or that.
It's
or that.
it is funny. Like people talked about the off the field concerns with James Pierce, and he got through the first season, and it seemed like it had gone away. And then, of course, that happens.
There it is.
615-737-1025. We'll continue talking about this article coming up next. Who are the Titans in front of? Because there are 4 teams that are viewed as a full-blown overhaul And we will talk about those coming up next. 615-737-1025. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. Next man up. 1025 The Game. It's a good one.
You're welcome, America. This is the one that I permit.
There's some good Taylor Swift out there. Like
the old stuff's great.
I'm not a Swiftie, but there is some. Enchanted's a good one. This is one I hear a lot from my.
I don't believe this is Taylor's version though, so we're caving to the corporate.
Taylor's version's like 10 minutes long.
That's only
that's
all too well.
Why do I know this?
Oh, that's right.
This is what happens when you have sisters.
We just yes. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you. Let's go to our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Bob has called in. Bob, thanks for calling. What you got today?
Hey, guys. Hope you're all doing good today. You know, you were talking about the NFL seasons of list. So I think the funnest thing to do is take the list and combine the list. So you were talking about the list that came out, you know, where the projector everybody is right now, where they put the Titans. Another list I saw yesterday was, and I think you can combine the two to kind of see where the future is going. There was another list I saw yesterday of grading everybody's draft picks from this previous year. The Titans got, I think, a B or a B minus just last year for Cam and Helm and everybody. I'd be curious to go, because you were talking about teams going the wrong direction. I've been hearing how bad the draft picks the last couple of years have been for the Vikings. You go look at their list of supposedly like their draft picks this year didn't do anything at all. Where they had the Titans, a ton of progress of what we drafted. So I think if you combine the two lists, it kind of goes more into what you're looking for is where our trajectory is. You might want to look at that list too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Of the recent draft picks are like that is what makes a team, right? Is the guys you have on rookie contracts who can be the core of your team, and you supplement with the big name, big money guys. The Vikings draft picks for the last 4 years have been horrible.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's why Kwesi Adofo-Mensah is no longer the GM.
that and the quarterback decided to get rid of just won a Super Bowl.
Yes, the timing on that was
notable
at the very least.
We have an update on the Taylor Swift situation.
Oh,
from the suit. It's okay. We can play both Taylor's version and the OG.
Oh, okay.
She bought the rights to her music.
Oh, right. She did. I forgot about that.
So,
yes.
We did not cave to corporate entities.
There you go.
We did it.
And Chase is a big fan of Taylor
I was about to
Swift.
say.
He is. He's a very big fan.
I love
Her
that the
reports.
suit knows that because
he's a massive Swiftie.
That's hilarious.
I like the old stuff. Like, I can handle the old country stuff and, you know, like that. Like, that's her first, what is that, Speak Now or whatever.
Fearless, maybe.
I need women.
Speak Now.
Anyways. Yeah, Speak Now. The new stuff is awful.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick my favorite Taylor Swift song, I'm going Back to December. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
Enchanted
slower.
can make a grown man cry.
Enchanted's good.
Enchanted's good.
Sparks Fly.
Sparks Fly. I mean, there's always the basic ones like You Belong With Me has always been a good one for me.
Yeah.
All the old country stuff is what I like. How did we, you know what? I'm sorry.
This is your fault.
Yeah, it's my fault.
This is your fault. You allowed Taylor Swift on Fridays.
This is why I said she was banned, because now people are going to start, making this a thing.
Looking at this list again, and this is from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, NFL overhaul tiers, talking about how close the 18 non-playoff teams are to contending again. There are 4 teams below the Titans. And the Titans and Browns are in the same tier as in the middle of a rebuild is what Fowler says, which yes, it's probably true, but I don't think the Titans and Browns are in the same spot. Full-blown overhaul is the bottom of this.
I haven't looked at any of these.
There's one team I disagree with, but there's 4 of them. Can you guess what the 4 teams are?
New York Jets.
Yep.
Let's see. Probably the team with the number 1 overall pick right now in
Yes,
Vegas. Arizona.
Yep. One of them does not have a top 5 pick.
No, but I don't think they have a good quarterback, and that would be the Miami Dolphins.
He's 4 for 4. What would you say the one team I disagree is in a full-blown overhaul?
Miami.
No, Vegas, actually.
Really?
I think Vegas, at least you look at it and you can see the pieces, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Like, they've got Brock Bowers. They've got Ashton Genty. The defense is not very good.
Max Crosby.
They've got Max Crosby if he doesn't get traded. But if he gets traded, then you've got probably an extra first-round pick.
Whatever happened to Tyree Wilson?
Yeah, he never panned out. We were talking about him yesterday, actually, as like the traitsy potential edge rusher that a lot of teams like to take instead of the guys who actually sack the quarterback. So
he's Arden Key, basically.
I was going to say, like, the Raiders, if I had to look at this team, I would say they are closer to winning than the other 3 teams. I think the Cardinals, Dolphins, and Jets are going to be absolutely awful this upcoming.
And what do they all have in common?
They don't have a quarterback.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with Tua. It sounds like the Cardinals are just stuck with Kyler Murray for another year because I don't think anyone wants to take on that contract.
Yeah.
I guess Mike LaFleur is just going to have to, because I think this is a contract year for him. He's a free agent after this year. So,
I mean, it's becoming more common for teams to just eat the money.
Yeah.
Like the Broncos did it with Russell Wilson. They played in the AFC Championship game this year. The Dolphins look like they're primed to do it with Tua Tagovailoa. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Cardinals just say, you know what, we're going to eat the money on Kyler and
ride with Jacoby
move
Brissett.
on. Or
because who would they go out and get is the thing.
Malik Willis.
That's true.
Because mentioned this with Corey yesterday. Malik Willis was coached by Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. Mike LaFleur,
Who
is
looks
the
like
new
Nick
head
Frazier.
coach.
Have you ever noticed this?
I did not see that.
Look up Mike LaFleur.
Okay, I'll do this during the break.
He looks like Nick Frazier.
So I agree with 3 of those teams. I think Vegas maybe could be more in a tier above.
I would actually agree with that. I would put them in the spot that they have the Titans.
Well, right, because it's like the Raiders have a way to get their franchise quarterback. At least they hope he's their franchise quarterback with Fernando Mendoza. And they have some strong pieces that you can build around. I couldn't say that about some of the other teams. Like the Jets have Garrett Wilson, and the Dolphins don't really have anybody.
Jalen Waddle, I guess.
Jalen Waddle, yeah.
But
Devon Achan's been good, but it's a running back. Like the
Bradley Chubb.
Cardinals have Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison. Like there are pieces there, but the quarterback's the big thing. And the Raiders have the easiest path to find a quarterback with the number 1 overall pick.
Right.
And then there's the one team tier that he has in here is somewhere between contention and reset. Can you guess who that is?
Well, obviously it's a team that didn't make the playoff because that's this list.
Yep.
Detroit Lions.
No, it is the Washington Commanders.
And
I kind of agree with it that they went big this year, trading for Laramie Tunsil. You had Marshawn Lattimore. They signed Von Miller.
Deebo Samuel.
They traded for Deebo Samuel. It's like they tried to go all in because they went to the NFC Championship in year 1 under Jaden Daniels, and it didn't go well. They could end up being a contender, but you got to get your draft picks right. You got to bring in the right pieces, and Jaden Daniels has to stay healthy. But you could also look at this team in a couple of years and say, man, they got to the NFC Championship game and just never got close again.
Right. It's just things have to pan out for them.
Right.
They haven't had draft picks other than Jaden Daniels that I think have really, I mean, maybe Bill has been playing a hurt. Good old Bill Crosby.
Bill.
Little Bill.
Yeah, Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt.
I guess he's fine, but like they're an unk squad. I think we
right.
could say.
They tried to go all in last year and it blew up.
Yeah.
Can they rebound from that?
And some of that was injury. Your quarterback got hurt.
Who knows what that team would have looked like if Jaden Daniels was healthy the entire season. But they went all in with a bunch of old free agents and trades, and it didn't work out. We'll see what they can do this year. Let's go to our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Chad in Nashville is called in. Chad, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Hey guys, good stuff. When listening to some of this draft topic and getting grades. Sometimes, how about the instant? I love the instant draft grades. Draft is the end of April, and then the next day after the draft, we get grades. Like, who in the world? And now we're getting grades from last year's draft. And then the previous caller talking about the Vikings and their draft. You can't draft. If you want to really go and grade drafts. Let's go and grade the 2020 draft. Let's go grade the 2021 draft, because now we have a true body of work here after 5 years. And, the Vikings, their problem with their GM was the owners are not in the building, and there's always been a power struggle up there. They had it with their previous general manager with Rick Spielman and Mike Zimmer, the head coach, and now they had a power control problem. But if you look at the Vikings' last 4 first-round draft picks, here's their last 4 first-round draft picks. They had a starting left guard. They got Donovan Jackson. The previous year, they took 2 picks in the first round. It's Dallas Turner and J.J. McCarthy. And the year before that, it's Jordan Addison. So you got really potentially, we don't know about J.J. McCarthy yet. People are already down on him. And I watched the game they played against the Commanders. They ran him off the field. And he played phenomenal. He's a 22-year-old guy. It's like the Sam Darnold effect, right?
Yeah.
And so, this idea that, we're just going to just trash these guys on year one, or, Titans, I just saw this thing and said that they got an A+ for their draft in 2025. Really? How about if you really want to be educated about this, go and run the 2020 draft or the 2021 draft. That's about as far back as I want to go as far as grading drafts. So good stuff, fellas.
No, it's a very good call from Chad, because people are so quick to thank you for the call, Chad.
Your job, producer.
People are so quick to judge these players. And I agree with Chad on, you probably need to get to the end of rookie contracts to have a full look at what a draft class is.
Yeah.
unless you're the Titans in like the 2020 draft and half of those guys were out of the league in 2 years. But I think you also, he is right. And that's what I hated when everybody was calling Cam Ward a bust after 6 games. I'm like, guys, he is a 23-year-old quarterback.
But we also got to factor in that 9 looks significantly worse.
No, yes. And I think with JJ McCarthy, you definitely don't feel great about him heading into this next year. But would it shock me if he took a step forward this year? No. But I think the Vikings also have to do their due diligence and bring somebody in to be a safety net, somebody to compete with him.
Right.
Because JJ McCarthy has not proven that he can be a franchise quarterback at this point. But I totally agree with what Chad is saying, is that you do these instant grades the day after the draft, and they'll do the I just saw they redrafting the 2025 NFL draft and like going through. I'm like, you have no idea. Like Jackson Dart and Tyler Shuck were top 5 picks. It's like there's a chance that none of those guys, and I'll include Cam Ward, like there's a chance none of those guys are franchise quarterbacks.
Right.
Let's wait for 4 years and see if some of them get second contracts before we decide, oh, this is who would have gone where in the draft. So that's a good call from Chad. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We will get to some of your texts on the other side. And also talk a little bit more about the Titans and how they can accelerate this rebuild. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game.
No, I didn't say open the door.
I was about to say, is this allowed back-to-back
No, no,
Taylor
no, no.
Swift?
No, what is he yelling at me for? What is he
Wait,
saying
this
to
is
me?
Taylor Swift?
Yes.
I didn't realize this
Oh
was
my
Taylor
God.
Swift.
I think this might have been a Chase McCabe special
Yeah.
that has been called in here.
Yeah, it is. Look at him. Look at him just shaking it off. That pun was not intended right there. I did not
Wow.
mean to say that.
I think you did mean to say it.
No.
Next man up, 1025 The Game. We are looking at this article from ESPN from Jeremy Fowler talking about where all of the non-playoff teams stand in terms of their rebuilds. And I want to get to some texts here. First off, we were talking about Kyler Murray. 8586 says Kyler should go to the MLB. He's made his money and now go do the sport you were probably better at. How funny would that be
Oakland
if he
Athletics
just showed
legend.
up at athletics training camp or spring training and just got ready to go? This is the text I wanted to hit on. WB and Thompson Station says, why do you guys keep talking about all this cap space? That is money that Amy has chosen not to spend. There is no reason to believe that she is going to suddenly start spending all her money. She never has. I'm going to vehemently disagree with that.
You're going off of projections.
When can anybody name a time when Amy Adams Strunk, like when it's come out that she just would not spend money?
No, you have living proof on the roster of disagreeing with that point.
Spending too much money, right? Like
his name's Calvin Ridley
and L'Jarius Sneed.
and L'Jarius Sneed.
I think the one thing that people might point to is the AJ Brown situation. I think that was just poorly handled by everybody involved. The agent, AJ, John Robinson, and probably Amy too. But I'm not going to specifically say that she closed the pocketbook and said, I'm not going to pay AJ Brown that amount of money.
You know where this argument is coming from, right? This is Derrick Henry.
Which nothing to do with it.
Which makes zero sense, but people are so mad that they didn't spend the money on him and, went after Tony Pollard for essentially the same contract. Guys, he didn't want to be here. He wanted to go chase a ring. And he's doing that.
Right. No,
move on.
The Henry situation has nothing to do with this. I just think there are cheap organizations out there. Look at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Exactly.
That is a cheap organization.
They just got into a 3-month dispute with their first round draft pick.
Shamar Stewart. And am I saying that Amy Adams Strunk is like the LA Dodgers of the NFL and is like, I'm going to spend every cent to try and win a championship? No, she probably hasn't been that. But I don't think there's any legitimate evidence to say that she is just deciding not to spend money on the players.
Well, she's not going to go take the home run swing on the hottest player on the market. Frankly, I don't think the franchise is in a position to do that at all right now.
Right. It wouldn't make sense. But I think that if Mike Borgonzi wants to go get a player, she's not going to say, no, that's too much money.
Right.
I think that she has given Mike Borgonzi the reins to go find players for this team. Adam Schefter and other insiders are putting out there when they're trying to show the attractiveness of this job, the cap space. I'm sure there is somebody from the Titans telling them that, hey, we want to go spend money on this team.
Yeah. I cannot get behind that argument of, well, she just refuses to spend money because what proof of that do you have?
Do you know why the Titans have so much cap space?
Because they suck and they're paying players on minimums right now.
Because they have not had to extend any of their draft picks for 4 straight years. That is why they have money to spend, because there are no players that have been worth keeping around on this roster. That is why the Titans have $100 million in cap space.
That is correct.
And
look, we're not arguing that the Titans need to go out and spend every single cent of this $100 million. Spend a good amount of it. Get the players that you need. But I don't know what kind of revisionist history is being played here and saying that Amy has never once spent money, because you have living proof on this roster that it has happened.
Right.
You're going to have to eat some cap this year because of that.
Saying that the cap space that you have is because Amy chose not to spend money. If you would have rather had her extend Nicholas Petit-Frere and Traylon Burks, great. They didn't deserve the money. That's why you have all this money.
Welcome back, Isaiah Wilson.
Yeah, just bring him back.
Yeah.
Let's give him $100 million. See how that goes.
Lazy Panda. Bring him back.
No, I disagree with that. And Amy Adams Strunk is far from a perfect owner, but I think that you're piling on if you're trying to say that she's cheap and won't spend money on the roster. I really do think that she is willing to spend money to try and chase a championship with this team. There just has been nobody worth spending money on. Devin from Dover, we just addressed this, but he says A.J. Brown wasn't worth keeping around. That's the one player that you could point to and say Titans wouldn't pay him. I think that was poorly handled by everyone involved.
Yeah.
And Amy deserves blame for that too, because that trade does not get signed off on without Amy Adams-Strunk. But by and large, the Titans have spent in free agency.
That was a John Robinson misread right there. And he's come on this station and admitted that was probably the wrong decision.
And A.J. Brown's camp handled it wrong too.
Mm-hmm. He's about to be traded again.
Right. I am not saying Amy Adams-Strunk is devoid of blame, but I don't think you can look at the history of what the Titans have done and say that she won't spend money. Look at some of the big name free agents the Titans have brought in over the years. I mean, they went and paid Malcolm Butler. They went and paid Roger Saffold. They went and paid Calvin Ridley.
Or even some of the trades that they've brought in.
Right.
Julio Jones.
Who
they gave a good contract to.
There has been no one worth spending money on outside of Jeffrey Simmons, basically. I don't think that that if the Titans don't spend a ton of money this offseason, it's not because Amy is holding her purse strings too tight. It's because they didn't find anybody they wanted. I think the Titans are going to spend money this offseason.
Yeah.
It's not going to be $100 million, right? You're not spending all of it, but we did the simulation, spent 70, I want to say. I think that's probably about right. In AAV, I think they're going to spend probably like $70 to $80 million.
Leave yourself some wiggle room, of course, but spend the money, get the positions that you feel like you need, and fill those holes.
Justin from Greenbrier says, I know we are in hope season, but I truly think this team will be in better shape after the draft and free agency. Well, you would hope so.
I think we all hope.
I think that you would hope the roster is in better shape. I think this team is going to take a step forward. The coaching staff looks competent. You've got a quarterback entering year 2, and you have resources to add to the roster. This team's going to be better. How much better is the question? Because it would take a complete and total disaster for this team to win 3 games again next year, I think.
I'm looking through this texter's previous texts, and it's quite literally.
Is it just going after Amy?
Yeah. So I think you're letting your hatred of Amy Adams-Strunk blind you from, realistic possibilities. Like he's saying Borgonzi will be gone in the next 3 years because he will realize what you two don't. And Amy is an awful owner. I don't think Borgonzi's going to leave on his own accord a general manager position and
resign
one of 32 NFL teams. But look, I'm not the biggest Amy Adams fan either. I don't think anyone is. But to say that she's just not going to spend money because she's too incompetent to do so is just,
or because she's cheap. Like that's what he's trying to say, is that she wants to take her rev share from the NFL and not put it back into the team.
Okay. What evidence do you have to back that up?
Right.
Because the evidence we're finding is saying quite the opposite.
Yep. I think Chip from Mount Juliet puts it perfectly on the text line. He says, it's not what Amy spends. It's her knee-jerk reactions as an owner and lack of leadership when it comes to these decisions.
Bingo.
Yes, 100%. Amy Adams-Strunk has plenty of flaws as an owner, but being cheap historically has not been one of them in terms of spending on players.
Yeah. And I think, some people just let their hatreds of people fuel their narratives. And I'm not saying that you can't hate her. It's your opinion, but don't let that distract you from the fact of what's actually going on here. Amy Adams-Strunk is not cheap and historically has never proven that. So that's just a bad argument.
615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. NASCAR action is on the Game Nashville Sports Network all season. Starting at 6:30 tonight, you can catch live coverage of the NASCAR Truck Series race fresh from Florida 250 on 1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly will wrap up hour number 2 on the other side. It is opening day across college baseball. We'll have a quick conversation about that and get to more of your texts as well. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 1025 The Game.
Don't tell me who this was. Billy Amick, right?
Amick.
Same thing.
Next man up, 102.5 The Game, Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. You know where he got this from, though?
Billy Idol.
Blades of Glory.
Oh,
This is Will Ferrell going around hyping the crowd up.
I need to watch that movie again.
I watched it a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, oh, wow.
Was that your Olympic hype up movie?
Yeah, it was. It was like, I think it was on Peacock because they were getting ready for the Olympics.
You know what movie we're about to get to watch here in a couple months?
Draft Day.
The best, worst movie of all time.
Best horrible movie of all time. I can't wait. It's a tradition unlike any other. That music coming back because college baseball season starts today.
Amen.
And big one for Vandy today. Vandy is in Arlington this weekend for the opening weekend of the year. They are playing TCU. It is a 3:00 first pitch. You can listen over 94.9 The Fan. College baseball, it starts too early. Like, I think we can all agree on that, right? It starts too early, but I do like that it leads to these tournament type games.
It's like basketball. Yeah.
Right. Like, you get TCU, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, and Vanderbilt, and they play round robin over a weekend. It's an opportunity to get some high profile games early on in the season and see where you stand. Right? If you're Tim Corbin and the Vandy boys, you head down to Texas. You're going to face some really good teams. TCU, usually a national contender, same with Oklahoma State. So I think it's going to be a really fun weekend for Vanderbilt. They were the number 1 overall seed last year, obviously, and fell in the regional. Ranked 23rd heading into the year, which surprised me. I thought they'd be a little higher.
Yeah, it's a little low because I think if you look across the SEC, Vanderbilt, I would argue, has the most returning talent that they've already established themselves. They've got returning pitchers, and Connor Fennell, I think, is interesting to watch. The bats are back. A lot of the bats that they had last year are back in the rotation. So they're an interesting team to me. I want to see if they can sustain success across multiple series, because that was kind of the issue with them last year is they'd have a really good series against a really good team one weekend, and then the next weekend they'd go out and drop one to, South Carolina or something like that. So I'm curious to see how returners on this team take this team to the next level. And look, if they make it over into the tournament, the goal obviously is to win a national championship with the national, prowess that this team has. But overall, I think the goal for Vanderbilt fans is, can we make it out of the first round of a regional? Because that hasn't happened.
Yeah, it's been tough for Vanderbilt in the postseason, and maybe a monkey they have to get off their back at the end of the year. But this is still a very talented team. I think the bats are better than last year. With some of the transfers that they've brought in.
Yeah.
And of course, you get another year older for some of your young players. The pitching is the big question, right? You get Connor Fennell today, who's an all SEC preseason pick. So you feel good about your Friday starter in Fennell, but your other starters, Austin Nye, has experience, but not a ton. And then Nate Taylor is making his first collegiate start on Sunday, made 9 appearances as a reliever last year. He's going to pitch on Sunday. So I think the starting pitching is the big question for Tim Corbin's group this year. Can you get some other players to step up like Connor Fennell did last year? I mean, he was not expected to play a huge role for this team transferring over from Dayton and ended up being awesome. Can you get somebody like that to join the rotation this year?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the key, because if you look historically, Vanderbilt has always relied on pitching pretty heavily. They've got some great prospects that have come out of Vanderbilt and made themselves into stars in the MLB. So it's a matter of, can you step up? I think the bats are going to contribute a lot to this team. You've got a lot of returners. Like I mentioned, Barzy is back. You've got other positions. Holcomb, of course. You've got guys that have proven that they can, put some contact on the ball when it matters the most. So Vanderbilt, I think, is one of the more interesting stories across the SEC. Tennessee is really interesting to me as well, just because of the whole Vitello storyline. How does Coach Elander look?
Yeah.
They brought in a good transfer class, and I'm curious how they look now that the coach that actually brought them in looks. And, Kentucky's interesting to me, of course, not just as a fan, but,
Yeah, I saw they ranked 18th in the country.
Well, that's a team last year that kind of took a step back after making it to the College World Series. And then, they've returned pretty much everyone. They got a preseason All-American at shortstop in Tyler Bell. So I'm curious to see the next step there. LSU is interesting to me because they lost a lot, but that's a team that always seems to reload, not just recruit. They reload. Arkansas is always going to be interesting to me because that's a team that can never, ever get over the hump.
Yeah.
They always look unbeatable in the regular season and even in the SEC tournament. And then they get to when it actually matters in the tournament.
Right.
Just cannot get there. But
the
Texas,
SEC,
Texas
A&M.
A&M with Schlossnagle, how do they look? Alabama with Justin LeBron is back. I mean, the SEC, I think you can make the argument is once again the most top to bottom loaded conference in college baseball. I don't think there's much. Georgia, of course, again, I don't think there's any argument between conferences this year.
Is there a sport that a conference dominates more than the SEC in baseball? Like,
right.
It used to be like the ACC dominated in soccer. Like that was their
lacrosse.
Right. Like that was their big sport. I don't know if they do anymore. The SEC has won every college baseball national title since 2018.
The Big Ten dominates in
wrestling. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That would be another one.
And hockey, but I mean, they're really the only power conference that has recognized hockey. So
the SEC, every title since Oregon State won it in 2018, and all but three since 2013. Oregon State, Virginia, and Coastal Carolina are the only three to win a national title not from the SEC since 2013.
That's ridiculous.
Crazy.
And it's hard to, bet against them. I couldn't tell you who I would pick to win the national championship right now, just because I think baseball is such a weird sport, and whoever you think it's going to be isn't, just because the playoffs and the tournament are whichever team is the hottest riding in.
Yeah.
That's in the majors. That's in college. That's in the minors. It's all across baseball because it's just that kind of sport.
At the top, UCLA is ranked as the preseason number one. They got, is it Rock Kalowski? Their shortstop is the
Georgia Tech is really good.
They're ranked number 5. Coastal is number 6. Louisville is 8. TCU is 10. So this is a top 25 matchup in Arlington today. But the rest of the top 10 are all SEC teams. LSU 2, Texas 3, Mississippi State 4, Arkansas 7, and Auburn 9. So big game today coming up for Vanderbilt again. Number 10 TCU, number 23 Vandy. Keep an eye on Brody Johnston this year. He had a great freshman year. I'm excited to see him. We talked to Andrew Allegretta on the show a couple times, and he pointed him out saying he might break some records by the time he's done on West End. So that's a big one. And then Tennessee is hosting Nichols today, if I'm not mistaken. And Kentucky
they're on the road.
On the road at UNC Greensboro.
Which you can watch absolutely nowhere.
Nowhere.
I mean, I guess you can listen to their radio network, but don't stay here. Listen to Vanderbilt.
Right. Listen to Vanderbilt. 3:00 on 94.9 The Fan. So you could flip back and forth between DVD and Vanderbilt baseball.
There you go.
If you want to. 6033 asks, do you believe that Corbin should be on the hot seat with the recent lack of postseason success?
Absolutely not.
I don't think so, but saw an article stating as much. Yeah, thank you. No. Tim Corbin will have a job at Vanderbilt as long as he chooses to have a job at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
I understand the lack of postseason success is a concern. They haven't been able to make a run, but
he's done too much here to even be considered a fireable employee.
And as we talked about with baseball in general, like it's just a lot of it is luck in the postseason. Like, yes, you can have the talent and you can put yourself in the best position to have success, but it's a round ball and a round bat. Sometimes you're not going to get the breaks you need, and you're going to lose in the postseason.
Thank you,
The ball won't bounce your way.
There you go.
I'm not saying that's all of it. They need to play better in the postseason, but you don't fire a legend like that unless things completely crater. So Tim,
I laughed way harder at that Rand Carthon comment than I probably should have.
I mean, it was pretty much direct to the point.
It's a round bat, a round ball.
Well, what was it he said? It's a curved ball,
it's an oblong ball.
Yeah.
It bounces.
It doesn't bounce normally. Well, and Robert Saleh said the exact same thing.
Oh, I know. And people were like, "Oh no."
We were like, "Oh no, is that what they teach you over in San Francisco?"
Wes came after me because I pointed it out. He's like, "Oh no."
we're in trouble. 615-737-1025 is the phone number if you want to text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Final hour coming up next. We're going to get into college basketball because it is a big weekend
oh my God,
ahead.
I'm so excited.
Vanderbilt hosting Texas A&M tomorrow. The Vols host LSU. And Connor's Kentucky Wildcats are down in the swamp.
That was the most excited with a phrase I've ever been that you've said, because no one else says that to me.
What?
We're going to talk about college basketball.
Oh, gotcha.
I've had it once with Joe Rexrode, and that's it.
Once we get past NFL season, I feel like there should be almost every day a dedicated college basketball segment.
Which is a rant aside. If you don't start watching now just because nothing is on, watch the whole season.
Well, yes, I agree, but get into it now. There's a lot of good basketball to watch. We talked about the women's side at the top of the show with Vanderbilt beating Texas yesterday. Commodores now projected to be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. We'll talk men's college basketball on the other side with a lot of big games across the SEC tomorrow. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly with you on this Friday morning. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Final hour on this Friday. Next man up, 102.5 The Game. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Gonna talk some college basketball here in the final hour. We'll do Monday headlines coming up at the bottom of the hour. Connor, you mentioned you have some breaking news for us.
There is breaking Nashville Predators news, everyone. World-renowned musical children's group formed by Ryan O'Reilly, Mac and Cheese, will be releasing their first ever studio album on April 10th.
I guess we know what Ryan O'Reilly's been up to over the Olympic break so far.
We know how he's spending his break, but I mean, this is the biggest news to come out of this franchise.
See, I had no idea that was even a thing until Max had Parker play it coming back from a break a couple weeks
Pizza
ago.
Party?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal. I thought it was the Wiggles.
No, I was there the day that I guess I was I think it was on Smashville Live. I was producing with them, and he had revealed that. So naturally, Max had us, do some research, and we found it.
I love it.
So I would like to take credit for some of the success of Mac and Cheese.
That's something.
Should I send out a push notification?
Yeah, please. This is massive.
That's something to look forward to if you're a Preds fan. You said April 10th?
Yeah, it's Pizza Party.
This is crazy that this is Ryan O'Reilly.
It's fan. I mean, I've seen Ryan O'Reilly sing this song, and now I see him on a commercial with the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Is Ryan O'Reilly the only player in NHL history to have a children's band and a Conn Smythe trophy?
He has to be. Has to be. I mean, that needs to be at the top of his resume when he retires and goes to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Ryan O'Reilly, NHL Hall of Famer, lead singer of Mac and Cheese.
Grammy Award-winning Mac and Cheese artist.
Let's talk some college basketball here. Big weekend coming up as we come down the stretch. Again, we said it when we talked about the women's side. 4 weeks from Sunday, we get a bracket. And March Madness is nearly here. Big games in the SEC as we start to get closer to games over at Bridgestone Arena in that second week of March as well. Let's start with Vanderbilt in town over at Memorial Gym. It's a noon tip tomorrow. Vandy and Texas A&M. There's a log jam in the SEC at 7-4. Vandy, Alabama, Mizzou, Tennessee, A&M, all 7-4. This is a big game, not just for Vanderbilt trying to improve their NCAA tournament seeding, but also if they want to be in conversation for a double bye in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, this is a big one. I mean, A&M has been the team that's kind of had a fall from grace at the top of the SEC just because they played the weaker portion of the conference at the beginning of the conference schedule, and now they're playing the big boys. So, but this is still a big one. If you want to solidify yourself as a higher seeded SEC team and maybe even a higher seeded national team, then this is one you got to win. I think injuries aside, I think Vanderbilt is the better team than A&M.
Yeah.
They've been playing well without the injuries. I think that win at Auburn will give a bit of momentum to that team. But yeah, they just got to keep their composure together, keep knocking down shots the way they're capable of doing. A&M is not a very big team, so your post woes that have been kind of plaguing you all season will not be as prevalent this game as they would be in other games. But this is still a big one. You want to win, and of course you got a home crowd behind you. So Pack Memorial, go see Vanderbilt. This is a big one, especially if you want to get out of that log jam you mentioned.
Yeah, you mentioned the injuries. Duke Miles and Frankie Collins have missed a lot of time.
Is Frankie going to redshirt again?
I don't know. And that's there's a lot that needs to go into that. There's still plenty of time left for him to come back, but Mark Byington seemed kind of unsure about what the future looks like for Frankie Collins. We'll get a better idea when the availability reports come out tonight of maybe you could see one of those two guys come back soon, but I would doubt either of them play tomorrow just based on what we've seen.
Right.
But talking about that log jam, Vanderbilt plays 3 of those 4 teams they're tied with over the next week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
They play A&M Saturday, then Wednesday take on Missouri on the road, and then Tennessee comes here next Saturday.
And then they've got, I think that Tuesday is Kentucky.
Georgia the next Wednesday, and then Kentucky the Saturday after that.
Yeah, and Kentucky's ranked just one place ahead of them.
Right.
They're in second currently behind Florida It says on their website they're in third. They have the tiebreaker over Arkansas. So
Right. Yes, they blew out Coach Cal.
Oh, it was so good. It was so much fun. But regardless, you got a log jam at I guess it would be fourth place for the
Right.
SEC.
So I guess it's second through second through eighth is all separated by one game.
Mhm.
So you've got a lot of teams in contention there. And then Texas is sitting a game back in ninth. So I think you feel pretty safe if you're Vanderbilt that you're going to end up getting that single bye into day 2 of the tournament. It's just about, can you get to Friday? Going to be interesting to see, out of those teams that are 7-4, can anybody catch Arkansas or Kentucky? And who ends up coming out on top of that group that's all tied up with still, I will say, 7 games left in the regular season. This is all going to sort itself out.
Right. Arkansas's got a relatively light schedule the rest of the way. I think I looked at it the other day. The only tough games they really play are, I think they play Alabama and they play maybe at Florida. So those are 2 losable games. But yeah, I think it's just how does your schedule fare the rest of the way? If you have winnable games, then you're going to be in it. If you don't, then you got to find a way to win those. So Vanderbilt, I think, is a product of that. You got to figure out how to keep your team together, how to stay relatively healthy. You're missing 2 key players, but don't have any more injuries and, just play your best basketball down the stretch. Now is the time to start heating up as the season winds down, because you get into postseason, and similar to baseball, it's not usually the best team that wins the national championship. It's the hottest.
Right.
So,
it's the team that's playing the best when March rolls around.
I mean, Florida maybe not be the perfect example of that. Last year, they were a 1 seed, but they were the 3rd 1 seed. So that was a team that started playing incredible basketball down the stretch.
Yep. They won the SEC tournament, correct?
Mhm.
Yep. So you're right. It's about the team that can get hot at the right time. Vanderbilt has a tough week coming up here. Again, a lot of teams towards the top. A&M, you're right, has slid a little bit. Missouri's not a world beater, but these are going to be important games. Tennessee has LSU tomorrow, and then Oklahoma in the middle of next week. Both those teams are 2-9 in the conference. So a chance for Tennessee to keep on stacking wins. And the collision course is almost here. 8 days from now, we get Vanderbilt and Tennessee in a Memorial Gym. I'm excited for that one.
That's going to be a fun one.
These teams aren't at the top of college basketball, but I think they are very comparable in terms of their talent and
physicality.
I think the styles are a little bit different, but I think it's going to be a really fun one next week over at Memorial Gym. And this will be interesting. 2076 says, Vandy didn't blow out Coach Cal. Arkansas crushed us. We're talking Kentucky.
Yeah, we were.
Kentucky blew out Coach Cal.
Yeah, well,
yes.
I mean, it was like an 8-point victory, but it was pretty much like that.
But they controlled it most of the way. Yeah. I guess blowout probably, but yes, Arkansas beat Vandy. Vandy beat Kentucky.
Yes,
all within like 1 week.
Yeah, it was.
615-737-1025 is the phone number. You can text or call. Our phone line's driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll keep talking college basketball on this other side. We'll look a little bit into that Kentucky-Florida game coming up tomorrow. Do the Wildcats stand a chance down there in Gainesville? We'll do it next. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 1025 The Game.
That's better. That's the better stuff right there.
I can't believe we got 3 Taylor Swift songs this year.
Look, I wasn't trying to open the floodgates.
You did.
One, I blame Chase McCabe for. It's his fault.
Now you can't close them. It's all T Swift from here on out.
It's happened.
Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. Talking college basketball here in hour number 3. We are just about a month away from Selection Sunday. 30 days from today, we will get
John
a
Rothstein.
bracket. Yes, we sleep in May. And the 2 local teams.
Some people have hobbies. I watch college basketball.
Right. I haven't looked at because I guess bracketology got updated today from Joe Lunardi. Let's see. I saw both were on the 5 line heading into last week, or the wins on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tennessee has fallen to a 6 seed.
Yeah.
According to Joe Lunardi. Vanderbilt is... Did they move up to it? They moved up to a 4 seed. So Vanderbilt now a 4 seed and Tennessee a 6 seed, according to Joe Lunardi, as things stand right now. Obviously, a long way to go. We mentioned their games coming up tomorrow. Vanderbilt hosting Texas A&M. Tennessee is hosting LSU. Kentucky taking on Florida. And the Gators have been the best team in the SEC so far this season. How are you feeling heading into this one with your Wildcats on the road in Gainesville?
I mean, selfishly, not great because, Gainesville's a tough place to play. Florida's playing the best basketball in the SEC right now. So it's a recipe for disaster, but it's worth noting that Kentucky, the last 6 appearances in Gainesville, is 6-0. And look, this is the most unpredictable Kentucky team we've ever seen.
Yeah.
One night they'll go lay an egg and lose by 30 to Vanderbilt. The next night they'll go out and beat Arkansas by 10. So it's pretty unpredictable. That's why they're called the Unpredictables. So I don't know. I'm kind of split on this one because I can see a world where they just get shell-shocked, and then I can see a world where, they get a victory and upset. So I don't know. It's an interesting game to have your eye on. We're absolutely loaded with sports this weekend, just in general.
Yeah.
College basketball, there's a great slate on Saturday. Women's basketball, there's a good slate on Sunday.
And Saturday, you got LSU, South Carolina tomorrow.
Oh, that's tomorrow?
Yeah. It's prime time on ABC.
I'll be watching. And then we got Olympic hockey. So it's a load on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, Olympic hockey. What else? There's something else this week. I guess college baseball started weekend. And
Daytona 500.
Daytona 500 on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And
500's coming up. Don't forget.
Golf season is underway for our golf fans out there. I don't know where they are this weekend. They were at Waste Management last weekend, which is always – it's the people's major. Did you see Max Homa
was he the one wearing a jersey?
Maybe, but he was asked, like, if you want to come to this tournament and just watch golf, where would you go? And he goes, oh, you go to the front 9. That's where you can watch the best golf. But I would go to 16, which is the stadium hole. And they're like, and why is that? To drink. That was what he said. So it's the people's major. There were lines like 4 hours long to get into the 16th hole.
Oh, my God.
Great. And the Masters coming up quickly, 2 months away.
My favorite thing to put on and, take a 2-hour power nap and wake up and realize nothing has happened.
I love the Masters. I don't watch golf year round, but I love the Masters.
Spring is coming when you're watching ESPN and you start to get the Georgia commercials. I
mean, this is where all of our relatively older listeners are going to come after me. I'm not a fan.
I love the Masters.
Not a fan.
Love it. I apply for tickets every year and never get it. My dad too. He's never gotten
a tradition unlike any other.
Yes.
For some of us, I don't care.
It is a big weekend for college basketball. We're talking about Kentucky and Florida. Kentucky currently projected as a 7 seed by Joe Lunardi, while Florida is a 3 seed. Kind of funny. Oh, there we go.
So,
hello, friends.
This just has nap time.
And welcome to Augusta.
I do not care.
86th playing of the Masters on CBS.
Christian Skeleton's going to be really mad at me for saying that, but I do not care.
I need a pimento cheese from Augusta so bad.
There's just everything about the Masters is great. The concessions, the merch, the tradition,
the no phones policy.
The no phones policy. Everybody just living in the moment.
I do not care. I have never been more disinterested in a topic until today.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
we will stick with what you do care about, which is college basketball. I was about to say the SEC, like last year, it was dominant. 14 teams get in. You had 2 of the 1 seeds. This year, Florida is the highest projected seed at 3. So the SEC is not in a great spot heading towards the tournament. It does feel like, even with a couple of losses last weekend, the top 4 of Arizona, Michigan, Duke, UConn, like that's the 4 right now that you're looking at as true national championship contenders.
Yeah, and I mean Arizona's coming off of a loss.
Right, right. I forgot Arizona lost to Kansas too. So all 3 of those 4 teams have lost in the last week.
There is one undefeated team in the nation remaining in the MAC, and it's Miami, Ohio. Can't wait to see them as a 10 seed. But yeah, this is a really wide open year in terms of national title contenders. I'm not sure there's one that you can point to and say that team has no weaknesses, because every single team does. Michigan, I think, is the kind of team that if they have an off shooting night, they're probably not going to win. Arizona is the same way. The thing I'm looking forward to in come tournament time is how do these freshmen fare? Because I don't think it's any secret. This has been the most, it's been one of the most, if not the most dynamic freshman classes we've ever seen in college basketball. AJ DeBonsta from BYU, Darren Peterson when he decides to actually play and it's not a big game. Koa Pete at Arizona, Cam Boozer, all of these freshmen that are just kind of taking the world by storm and are going to be good NBA players one day. This is just kind of how college basketball has been this season. And I'm curious to see which ones fold under the pressure of March Madness and which ones thrive, because I think all of them have the capability to do both.
Tough for North Carolina coming off that big win. That Caleb Wilson is out. He fractured his left hand. So that's one of those star freshmen that is now out for at least a little bit of time. The Illinois, is it Wagler?
Wagler,
the Illinois freshman. He's been great.
You know who else plays for Illinois? The son of Peja Stojakovic.
Really?
He is very good.
Wow. On his 3rd school in 3 years.
I have not watched enough Illinois basketball.
Where was his first? Because he was at Stanford last year.
He's at Cal.
Oh, so we went Cal, right. Stanford. Wow. Yeah, I think this is going to be a really fun March. I really do. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's not just the NCAA tournament. I was talking with Corey Curtis about this on Wednesday. Like, over at Bridgestone, I think you may be able to look at the top 8 teams, because it is tough to go 5 wins in 5 days to win a title if you're not getting a bye past the first round.
Yeah.
But the teams that get to start on Thursday or later, I don't think you would be shocked if any of them went and won the whole thing.
Corey had me a little fired up there because at one point he goes, even Florida could win it. And I'm like, Corey, you do realize
they're the 1 seed as of right now.
I was like, Corey, you do realize they were picked to win the SEC and they are currently the 1 seed.
And they are the reigning national champions.
They are not a dark horse. Corey Curtis. He probably has no idea who I am, but that's okay.
I am fired up for March. Both sides, men's, women's. I think we're going to get some really good basketball. And this weekend coming up, big games. Again, for Vanderbilt, you bounced back with the win against Auburn. Can you sustain it at home against Texas A&M? Last weekend was a tough one against Oklahoma. You fell behind. You tried to battle back. You came up just short. Can you get a win? Tennessee trying to avoid a couple of trap games coming up here in the next week. And then, as you mentioned, Kentucky trying to see if they can go pull it off and move themselves into a tie for first place in the SEC if they win tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, there's a documentary that CBS is doing on this season with Kentucky. So I'm excited for that. But I want to play the actual games first.
Yeah.
I am one of those that I could sit down and watch just about anyone play college basketball and find enjoyment in it. So this is a fun time of year for me. I'm excited for both sides, honestly. The women's tournament, maybe not as unpredictable as the men's, just because the first 2 rounds, usually the higher seed wins.
Right.
But once you get into like the Sweet 16, that's when it
high level basketball
really fun. And you and I obviously talked about it to start the show. I think that national title is wide open. I think, UConn's obviously going to be the favorite just because of the level of play they have, the way they're beating teams.
Yeah.
But I think, UCLA, Vanderbilt, Texas, South Carolina, LSU are all semi-comparable to each other. So I'm very interested in the women's tournament this year. and of course the men's, but really both. I'll be locked in on both.
It's going to be a ton of fun. Love college basketball season, and glad that it goes by faster every single year, but glad that we are getting close to
We've
some
only
of
got
the
7
big
games left.
I know. Crazy.
It feels
But
like we just
there's only
started.
4 on the women's side.
It's
Like,
because college football wants to play their national championship up until February.
right.
That is true.
Well, the Super Bowl sometimes is that dividing line too of like once you get past the Super Bowl, that's when everybody turns to college basketball.
I hate people like that are, well, I don't start watching until the tournament starts. I'm like, you're missing
Then you know
out.
nothing.
Yeah, and then they act like they're experts.
Yeah.
Well, I got the number 1 overall seed going all the way.
I'm telling you, Creighton, they're going to go all the way.
Creighton ain't gonna make the tournament today or this year.
Really?
I don't think so.
They're
I don't
pretty
watch
bad.
it.
They're
I don't
like
watch enough
13
Big
and
East
12.
basketball.
because I don't play for him anymore. Ryan Cockbrenner.
Oh, right.
My
Yeah, yeah.
doppelganger.
Devin and Dixon on the text line says if we didn't mention the Daytona 500, the suit and him would have been very disappointed.
500's coming up. No,
I didn't know it was happening, obviously, but I'm glad you saved me because it was on the tip of my tongue of like, what's happening on Sunday?
I saved both of us because you know who would have come in this studio.
Yes,
and
if we
ripped
didn't
us.
mention the Daytona 500. We have our Monday headlines coming up next. Maybe we make a Daytona 500 prediction. I don't know.
I won't. You guys can, but I don't know enough to actually make a prediction.
I mean,
so.
I use the Monday headlines
This is all
segment
me,
to
guys.
just make
All me.
random bold predictions and see what happens.
Maybe I'll march down to the suits office here for about 2 minutes
and see if you can get a pick from him.
see if I can get some data.
Yeah, we'll do our Monday headlines coming up next. What do you think is going to happen over the weekend? You got college basketball, you got Olympic hockey, you've got skeleton if you want to make a prediction there. You got the Daytona 500.
The Lug.
We will get into all of it coming up next with our Monday headlines here on this Friday. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up here on 102.5 The Game.
See, this is the good stuff.
It's a great one. Well done, Parker.
My sister is somewhere rejoicing at this.
This is devolved into all Taylor Swift, but it's fine. We can make it work.
But this is the good stuff. This
per,
is the
per
country
executive
stuff.
orders.
Oh, you've been told to do this?
Oh, did
I've
he
been-
told you to do
I've
this?
been told, but I don't mind as long as it's the old stuff.
I mean, thank you for not playing like, what's this the Ophelia or whatever, which is
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
tremendously horrible.
There's some okay songs on her new album, but yeah, nothing like the old stuff. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, next man up, 102.5 The Game. It is now time for our Monday headlines. What is going to happen around the world of sports this weekend? We will try and predict it. We will take your Monday headlines on our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com at 615-737-1025. Connor, where are you going first for Monday headlines?
I sincerely apologize to both of you if this is what you're going to do.
Go ahead.
Give me an Olympic clean sweep for Team USA.
Okay.
I know. Look, there he is freaking out. Yeah. I think they get the win over Denmark tomorrow, and then they get the win over the ice generals, the rink generals.
Germany.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Leon
Oh, you had
Goetze.
the music queued up, and I'm so sorry. Now I feel bad.
Hoping we hear this a lot over the next couple
Ah.
weeks.
I just took hockey from hockey's biggest savant. I feel so horrible.
You know, I'll stick with hockey here too, and you can keep it playing because this is American by proxy. Give me Switzerland to beat Canada this afternoon.
Yes. God bless this
I'm
country.
taking the captain. I'm taking Roman Yossi. Switzerland upsets Canada in game 2 of Canada's run in Olympic hockey, which again, it doesn't matter all that much because everybody makes the next round.
Yeah.
But Canada would likely not get a bye if they lose that game. So give me the Swiss today and Roman Yossi. Parker, what is your first?
Let's
Monday
keep
headline?
this trend going, baby. Give me the Czechs to get it done versus the French tomorrow night. Or it's tonight,
Yeah,
actually.
It's going on right now.
Actually, it's going on right now. Give me the Czechs to beat the French this
Let's
weekend.
see what the score is.
I mean,
in
this
that
guy-
game.
Czechia.
This guy is just unbelievable with the amount of hockey he knows. Like he's a dictionary. I could ask him anything about hockey and he would tell me the answer.
That's right.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, you're off to a good start. It's 6-3 Czechia in the third
Bang.
period.
I didn't even check
mean,
the score. I didn't even know they were playing right now.
Like watch how much of a genius this guy is.
Uh,
Parker, how many players are on the ice together at one time?
For one team.
Yeah.
6.
Look at that.
he knows so much.
I mean, I wouldn't have known that.
what constitutes icing?
So so I know what icing is. I just can't explain it. I'm
what is-
embarrassing myself.
What
in front
is
of
a
middle
power
citizens.
play?
Power play is when you lose a guy. But you still
Close
keep
enough.
playing.
It's close enough.
I mean,
yeah,
You
yeah.
can play like 4-on-5,
I mean,
3-on-5.
I mean, he's 3 of 3. He's just unbelievable.
Yeah, he's crushing it.
He knows everything.
All right, so we all went Olympic hockey for our first Monday headline. Connor has the U.S. sweeping the weekend, beating Denmark and Germany. I've got the Swiss upsetting Canada later on today. And Parker with the very bold prediction that Czechia, up 6-3 in the third period, is going to hold on and beat France.
This is like the time Chris Sanders tried to take an underdog while the game was
yeah.
currently playing.
All right, let's go to our second Monday headline. What do you got, Connor? What else is happening this weekend?
My second Monday headline is I will pass out in front of a television while the Daytona 500 is going on.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. This is me manifesting, which means it's probably not going to happen. But I think the Cats get it done. I think they knock off the Gators in Gainesville.
There you go.
To move to 7-0.
Wishful thinking, being optimistic. I was going to go college basketball, but somebody's got to go Daytona 500, right?
Where's the suit? I need him.
Chase, I think Chase, I'm interested if Chase is listening. I'd love to know his thoughts on my pick here because I don't know if it's even close to being right, but I know this guy. He is actually a Virginia Tech football fan. He is from Virginia. Give me Denny Hamlin to win the Daytona 500.
What kind of car does he drive? Or what?
I think he's a Toyota.
Okay.
At least he used to be at some point.
This is what Christian and I were just staring at last night. Okay, what brands do these guys have their cars? I was like, look, an M&M. And that was
Is it Kyle Busch used to
Kyle
be the
Busch,
M&M?
or he used to be.
Yeah, he for a long time. Kyle Busch is on the pole actually on Sunday.
I have no idea what that means.
He's running first.
Oh, okay.
To start the race. I'm going to go Denny Hamlin. He's starting in 22nd, but I'm going to believe in the local to the Commonwealth of Virginia. Parker, what is your second Monday headline?
In the Big 12, give me Kansas to beat Iowa State on the road in
Love
Hilton Coliseum.
Love
Iowa
that
State's
pick.
a 5.5-point favorite. Who knows if Darren Peterson's going to play?
about
I don't
to
even
ask,
think if
is
he
Darren
knows
Peterson-
if
It's a
he's
big
gonna
game.
play.
He won't. He'll sit
Yeah.
out.
So it's a top 10 matchup. Kansas is hot right now. They're coming off a win versus number 1 Arizona. Give me the Jayhawks in Ames, Iowa.
Yeah, they're playing well right now. They got the win, was it 2 weekends ago against BYU in that huge matchup between freshmen, and then, of course, beat Arizona earlier this week, even without Darren Peterson. Kansas could be one of those sleeper teams to
Two
look
of
out
their
for.
biggest wins on the year have come without Darren Peterson. Arizona and Tennessee.
Is he still going to be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, even with all of this?
I mean, if I were a general manager, I think health concerns would be a thing for me.
Health concerns or just like want to?
Yeah.
Like, does he love ball? The classic draft conversation. Does he love ball? I don't know. That's missing 9 games with leg cramping, subbing out late in the top 15 matchup with leg cramping, and
Florida's
then
11.5-point favorites.
oh,
That seems high.
it's at home.
Yeah. Well, they spotted a 1.5 for the home team, so technically they're 10.5-point favorites.
Yeah. So it would be more like 8 if it was in Lexington.
That seems high.
Devin and Dixon says Denny Hamlin is a 3-time Daytona 500 winner. So solid pick. Let's
There you
go.
There you
That's
go.
who I was leaning towards as well.
I know track. Is that what it's called? I know
Course.
I know
Turn left.
I know wheel.
I mean, this is a loaded slate this weekend for college basketball. You've got Kentucky, Florida, Clemson, Duke. That's a 4 versus 20, which somehow Duke lost and didn't move down whatsoever.
Clemson lost this week.
So they'll be unranked.
2.
Hokies.
Hokey high. Yes, they
Yeah.
Virginia Tech went into Little John, the first team in 2 years to beat Clemson in regulation at home.
Oh, UCLA and Michigan play. Kansas and Iowa State. Nebraska ball plays Northwestern. Let's see. A&M Vanderbilt, obviously. Louisville's on the road at Baylor for some reason, because for some reason we're doing non-conferences.
Well, and we've got over at Bridgestone tomorrow. We got Ohio State, Virginia.
Yes, we do.
So that'll be interesting. Jake Diebler, I heard him on with Chase and Big Joe, the head coach at Ohio State, former staff member of Bryce Drew at Vanderbilt. So he's got ties to the region. And, as much as hate Virginia, I do like Ryan Odom, their head coach.
I do like Ryan Odom.
You know why?
Because he beat Purdue.
Or
Virginia.
He beat Virginia.
I'm sorry.
As the head coach of UMBC.
I got my 16 seeds mixed up.
Yes. So even though he is at Virginia now, he gave me one of my favorite sporting hate watches of all time.
Was Tech in that tournament?
Because
Buzz was the coach, right?
Yeah. Yes, they were. They lost to Colin Sexton in Alabama that year.
That's right.
And then the year after that was when they lost to Zion in the Sweet 16.
Yes.
Yes.
And then Buzz left.
And Buzz left
for a lateral
and
move.
that was the year Virginia won the national
You ever
title.
thought about this? Buzz Williams' career is just lateral moves.
Yeah, he leaves after 6 years every time. He did it at
Mhm.
Marquette. He did it at Virginia Tech. He did it at Texas A&M. Maryland, you've got 5 more years with him. And it was hilarious. I saw Maryland fans complaining a couple weeks ago of like, he doesn't get Maryland basketball. All of his merch has Buzz Williams stuff on it, and it's not about Maryland. It's about Buzz. I'm like, yeah, have you not paid attention to Buzz's career?
Yeah,
it's always about Buzz.
Always about Buzz. He walks in the middle of the court, in the middle of the game, even if his team is playing well, just to scream.
Wears a 3-piece suit, sweats through that thing by half.
But Buzz Williams is the epitome of he's got an expiration date everywhere he goes. It's like you love him and all his antics when he starts there, but by year 4 or 5, you're like, man, he's winning, but can he please leave? And then he's gone. So yeah, I saw that from Maryland fans. I was like, have you watched any of Buzz Williams' career to this point? And
this
realized
is how it's always been.
All of his merch does not have like school name on it. It has hashtag get better, which is his thing. It's all about buzz. 615-737-1025 is the phone number. We've got one more segment on this Friday. We will wrap up the show on the other side. If you have any Monday headlines for the weekend, you can send those in on our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly. Next man up, 1025 The Game. Oh, he went away from it.
I'm just unfamiliar with this movie at this point.
Well, I actually was about to bring up the Super Bowl from last week. This is the same singer who sang Lift Every Voice and Sing before the game last Sunday.
Coco Jones.
Coco Jones, yeah.
She was good.
She was good. I was actually about to bring this up. Final segment of the show, by the way. Next man up, Jake Lyman, Connor Newt, Parker Kelly, chasing Big Joe coming up at the top of the hour. We just did our Monday headlines for this week, and I do have to bring up, we tried to guess everything around the Super Bowl last week in terms of coin toss, anthem length, Gatorade color.
Who got all
Connor
those
Newt
correct?
was right on with most of it. You got heads, which
Cash.
Parker and I were on tails.
Tails always fails.
Tails never fails except when it does. And then so what was the line you set for the anthem?
Over a minute and a half.
Okay, so yeah, you were clean on that. The actual line I saw was 157 and a half. Somebody tweeted that.
Missed,
so
too.
it was 156.16 was what I had. I was timing it just for fun. And Charlie Puth, he was really good.
He's really good.
He was good.
That one shot of him hitting that last note and
Right.
then the camera just single shot pans to the flyover.
That was
I was like, God,
cinema.
I love this country so much.
It ended up being what, yellow Gatorade?
Was it yellow?
I think it was.
I didn't keep track of that one.
Yes, it was. It was yellow because they showed the shot of it mixing before they actually dumped it on Mike McDonald.
Well, we all went blue, so we all missed that one.
Yes. What else did we try and pick?
Well, I tried to say that Collinsworth would mention Mahomes 5
Yeah,
times. I
you
don't think he
did.
mentioned it once.
I said JSN Super Bowl MVP, which was wrong.
He had like 3 catches for like
four catches,
for like
and then got
27 yards or
hurt.
something.
Yeah, I mean, the game went, I think, the way we expected it to.
Yeah.
Except for everything surrounding the game, which we were mostly wrong about. Connor got more than the rest of us did.
Just no ball-ish.
You know,
I know everything that revolves around the actual ball.
You know, coin.
And I guess musical timing would be the
mic.
thing.
You know, coin, and you know, microphone.
Remember, the ball is an obscure shape.
It is.
So it bounces.
It's oblong.
Oblong.
Well,
It bounces weird ways.
It looked like curling for me at one point, where it was just smoothly screaming down the ice, and then freaking Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah,
he's an unpredictable. You'll just never know.
Not typically though. Like usually he's pretty on point with what he says. It's about the same every single game.
How many times did he say, "Here's a guy"?
I was not counting
because I heard it many times.
Yeah, I mean that's his shtick. He's gonna stick with that. But anyway, yeah, we were off on a lot with the Super Bowl, but we did have an idea of how it was gonna go. The clip of Drake May going down and Mike Vrabel like basically like, hey, do you want to finish this game? I don't know if you saw that. Like it was a rough day for the Patriots.
Yeah. I mean, not everything was totally his fault. Drake May, that is. He did not look good.
No, he didn't, but it's one game.
Right.
And that's what we've talked about all week is it's fair to ask the question, is he ever going to get back? Because it's tough to get back to the Super Bowl.
The thing everyone's peddling home is, should Will Campbell switch positions?
Yeah, and Vrabel said no.
Good.
No, that is peak why Mike Vrabel.
No. Good because I'm right. Because I think Vrabel's too stubborn to get out of his own way.
No, that's what he does.
Let that happen.
Yes, Mike Vrabel, he is going to stick by his way or the highway. And yeah, he said he's not playing guard, center, tight end for us. He's our left tackle. I was like, all right, good luck with that.
Because he drafted him at number 4, saying this guy is our starting tackle.
And I don't want to act like Will Campbell can't be a good left tackle, because there were times during his rookie season when he was a very good left tackle in the biggest moments. And I know he said that he had a knee injury that he was playing through as well. In the biggest moment, he was very bad on Sunday.
He has T-Rex arms.
Yeah.
Which is not good for an offensive lineman. I know we get on Ruben Bain about the short arms thing, but he's been proven very effective. And obviously playing a completely different position. Will Campbell, that is the position you cannot have, the short arms.
Yeah, because most of those edge rushers are longer than you, and if they get to you first, you're in trouble. If you can't get to them first, I guess I should say.
He was a guy I didn't necessarily love coming out of the draft either, mostly because he profiled as a guard, and I didn't think that made sense for the Titans. But you're seeing it now. The Patriots, he profiled as a guard. They're playing him at tackle, and he's not doing well at it. So he needs a position change. Vrabel won't do it.
Well, it is funny. I saw yesterday that it might have been Daniel Jeremiah or one of the other draft experts was tweeting about Francis Maui-Noa from Miami and said he profiles more as a guard at the NFL level. Like, what is with all of these like high-level offensive line prospects that all end up having to be guards?
Gimmick offenses.
Like, are there any true tackles out there?
right? I mean,
Is there a way to lengthen their arms?
would you say that plastic surgery? Would you say that J.C. Latham is a true guard or a true tackle? I should say.
Yes, I think he's more of a right tackle than a left tackle.
Right.
Though. Like I think the left tackle typically is more of like taller, leaner. Latham's more the road grader on the right side.
Well, he
did
morphed
slim
his
down.
body a
right.
little
He
bit,
slimmed
yeah.
down, but like JC Latham fits the stereotypical right tackle size. I don't think his arms are an issue. I think he'd be a good guard. I think he can be a good tackle too.
I think it's mental for him.
Yeah.
He mentally gets in his own way with these penalties.
The penalties, and I think the injury got to him too.
Yeah.
I think it was tough for him to ramp back up after missing the first month and a half. This is a big year for JC Latham, but I think he's a tackle. I guess Spencer Fano is the lone like tackle towards the top that actually profiles as a tackle. What were your thoughts on the conversation this week of can the Titans take a tackle at number 4?
They shouldn't. I don't think it makes sense for the timeline. I think you go edge rusher, of course. You and I are the kind of the ones pumping that one out, but I think it would make sense to go edge rusher, and if you don't want to do that, then go receiver. The two I don't understand are drafting an offensive lineman and drafting Jeremiah Love. Those are the two I don't think make sense for the timeline of the Titans because offensive line, you've spent 2 of your last 3 drafts investing in that position. And, I think there are manageable ways outside of drafting a high pick, which you've done 2 of the last 3 years, that you can bolster that line a little bit. Running back, I think, is an interesting one because that's a position that doesn't have a super long timeline.
I know D-Mace is big on Jeremiah
D-Mace
Love.
loves Jeremiah Love. And I like Jeremiah Love too, but if this was a championship contending team like Kansas City or a team like that, then absolutely I would say do it. But this is a team that has too many holes, and I don't think running back is one of those prevalent holes like edge rusher or receiver is. So I don't think that one makes as much sense to me as it does for him. But
yeah,
that's his opinion, and he's very adamant about that's his opinion, and it shouldn't affect yours. So I'll stick to it.
We got the combine coming up in 2 weeks, and the Ruben Bain arm measurement is going to be a big moment to find out whether teams will view him as a top 5 guy. Maybe does he slide? I think the way he played in the college football playoff should matter more than whether his.
Did you know we have a heavy lack of offensive line knowledge?
I understand what he's saying. He like Will Campbell, sure, he could turn into a good tackle.
No one said he wouldn't.
But like he does fit better as a guard. Like that's what everybody said since he was coming out of the draft. So I think Vrabel's being stubborn. Maybe he ends up being a good tackle. I think he could be an elite guard. But we'll see. That's going to be up to the Patriots. Doesn't affect us down here in Nashville.
No problem.
That'll about wrap things up for us here on this Friday. Been a fun show. Connor, always a pleasure having you in.
Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Next Friday, we'll see. Maybe Max Hers will be back. I mean, he's off on his break. We're letting him take some time as Olympic hockey rolls along. But should be a fun weekend coming up. We'll be back on Monday to recap all of it. The U.S. playing 2 games over in Milan, college basketball, the Daytona 500, and much more. We'll get to it all coming up on Monday. But keep it right here. Chase and Big Joe are coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.